So I didn't hear what you.
There we are.
So I didn't hear what you were saying. What your answer was when I talked about how did you go someplace and they called the bathroom the lavatory? Did you hear me when I said? You
Yeah,
heard me when
I heard
said
you
that.
when you asked if anywhere called the bathroom the lab. I mean, I don't remember the lab as a abbreviation for that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I see Chris Shaman's here. Maybe he can corroborate your story about at school them calling it the lav.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like that was definitely a thing that we heard maybe in elementary school, going to the lavatory
I mean, is it just
instead of
like
the
an old
bathroom.
person? Is lavatory just something that I know what it means, of course, but like it's not a word that I would ever choose to use.
Right. Exactly.
Except you're choosing to use it right now.
I as a joke, but I just was more of like just asking you about it. I was just curious
No,
if
Gandyman has had the same experience, elementary school specifically, apparently.
yeah. See, we call it the lav here in England. You know, maybe it's like a I don't know, like a New England area thing.
You know, it's interesting looking at this. I'm going to go ahead and switch to the game because, you know, this opening doesn't play unless you let it sit on the title screen, and a lot of these shots are very similar to like the real-time shots from the original
Right.
that goes along with this music. But they spoil it. I mean, there's a lot of added stuff here too, and they totally spoil that Peach joins.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought it was crazier that Bowser joined.
Oh yeah, but that was like a really hyped up point. Like
I say.
like in the magazines, like it was very much known that he was going to join.
Right.
Whereas Peach was like kept a secret, at least as far as what I had read. So it was like a big surprise to me that she joined the party. I mean, it was of course crazy that Bowser joined. But
Yes.
by the way, before we really get going, so I'm streaming right now on my old editing computer, which has moved from upstairs to downstairs. If you ever saw me streaming upstairs, you know, on the orange couch with the game boxes behind me, that was my main editing computer I was streaming off of. I built a new computer last weekend. It's upstairs now, so now I've moved my old computer downstairs. So I had to like, you know, reconfigure some things. So I don't actually, is my audio even on, or is it like super crazy low or something?
It sounds okay to me.
Yeah, but I'm looking at the levels on the other scene. They looked okay, but hang on.
While you're doing that,
Test. Do I sound like really weirdly
everyone's saying it
low?
sounds like I'm a little higher than you. But
I don't.
the audio's fine.
I don't know how. Hang on, let me
It's not
switch
terrible,
back to the
though.
other scene. Just a test. I was like, I didn't change anything, and now it's like way lower than it was before, which is strange.
There was
Let me see,
$2.
is that, do I sound better now? Maybe I probably still need to go up more.
Dad 1153 had $2 saying Happy Turkey Day in advance. Gobble gobble.
Yeah, thank you.
Like I hear gobble gobble, I like. Is that the sound that it is? I can like really hear myself coming through your speakers.
Really?
Yes. So you got to turn that down, or something's. You did not activate the echo stuff.
I've always been confused whether the echo stuff should be activated on your end or my end.
It should be activated on both of our ends.
Sometimes it screw stuff up.
I don't think so. I have not done anything with it in a very long time.
I just don't understand why this changed.
I'm just hearing myself.
Hang on.
Oh, is there Black Friday deals going on? I haven't even thought about it.
All right. Test. Let me move that up a little more. Testing. Whoa, too much.
Dude, that's like, yeah, it's going.
Test.
I feel like it was. I think that it was good.
Okay, like right here, levels wise, that looks good and it looks fairly balanced. Are you still hearing yourself though?
I'm definitely still hearing myself.
Okay, well, I didn't change anything.
It's got to be a Discord setting.
Yeah, I know. We'll just give me just a second.
Ooh, the
Okay, echo.
echo. Yeah.
It should. I just turned echo cancellation on, so it should go away.
Yeah, it's working now.
Yeah.
I do not hear myself.
Excellent. So do me and Coury sound relatively balanced now? I mean, like I said, I moved this computer down here, so it's kind of a different setup than previous.
You know, when we were talking about how we were echoing, my echo turned on, and it was listening for a minute, and I don't know what combination of words that it heard between the two of us, but all it said back to me was, "It is a clown." I don't know what it means, but that is literally like what it just said. It just there's no other context. It just said, "It is a clown."
I feel like I should be offended or something.
Of all the things it could possibly respond to is...
It is a clown.
It is a clown.
It is a clown, Sammy. It is a clown. Are you a clown? Are you a clownish dog? Yeah.
Clowning around. All right, so... Enchilada had a $5 super chat.
Oh, thank you.
Saying, great to see you come back to the game that started the RPGs for you and me, Try. The hours we put into this on weekends, plus the joy it brought us.
Yeah, well, you know, he's a longtime friend from way back in the day. We lived nearby when this came out on Super Nintendo, and he's not entirely right that it started RPGs for both of us, because he was playing stuff like Final Fantasy 4 and 6, Breath of Fire 1 and 2, Lufia 1 and 2. He was renting those all the time from the local game store. And I remember like going over to his house and watching him play them. I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, why, you know, in Final Fantasy, why did
hitting the air?
Yeah, like, why are they not hitting the enemies? Why do the enemies not animate? Why are they so much bigger? Why does the battle take place on another screen? Like, it was very abstract action, and I just didn't understand what was fun about. But I did think like the music was really cool and the characters were pretty cool, but I just didn't think the game looked fun to play. So I enjoyed watching some parts of it, but I was very confused. And I remember when Mario RPG was coming up, I remember asking Enchilada, I said, what does RPG mean on this game? Like, when I first saw it, like, what I'm seeing is this is Mario made with the same technology as Donkey Kong Country, and that's amazing, and it's kind of 3D, and I need this. Like, that's what I saw, right? Like, that was why I needed this game. And he's like, you know, I think that means it's like Final Fantasy. I'm like, oh no.
So you didn't get it right away?
No, well, I didn't. Because I was kind of like a little unsure about that aspect. But I like had to play it. Like I had to play it. So I rented it day one. I'm like, I don't know if I can play this if it's like Final Fantasy, but I'm going to give it a try. And, I totally fell in love with it, and then, within a couple of months, I did get my own copy. But yeah, I mean, this was the start of RPGs and, really in a lot of ways, like just more varied sorts of games in general for me, because, I was kind of recounting this with John, but I was, sorry, we're starting on the sewers, Coury. Although I feel like with Mario, it's a little different.
Yeah.
Like sewers are just like a part of Mario. But anyway, like I was telling John, like when I got to Mario's pad, like here, I'll actually, cause you can just escape to the world map at any point in this new version. So hang on. So, everything to the right of here doesn't exist yet when you first get knocked out of Bowser's castle. And you've got the Marc back to Bowser's castle, and you've got the Marc Mario is staying on. There's no Marc forward at that point in the game. And Toad says, go bring her back. And like, I really had never played a game with like event triggers before.
Right.
And it just didn't make sense to me, because I had already read in like the magazines that like the setup for the story is this big sword falls from the sky while Mario is fighting Bowser, and Mario and the princess all fly out of the castle in different directions. So I knew she wasn't there just because I'd read that in the magazines. And so he says, go bring her back. And so I leave. And I'm like, well, there's not another level to go to. I can see where I came from and I can see where I am, but the next level's not there. And I just I probably spent like 20 or 30 minutes, like not understanding where to go, when all I had to do was do what he told me to do and go back to the previous level. And then there's a cutscene and, Exor is like, we're the Smithy gang. And then you go back, talk to, and so this was like, it's such, I mean, I was 12 and like I said, I never really played like an RPG or any really like event trigger based game. So I just didn't understand the concept of like doing what characters tell you to do. So this was a whole new world for me. Like a hugely influential game for me. Mm-hmm. And I am playing with a Super Nintendo controller, by the way, because I mean, it's a very faithful remake. And you can kind of see here as I like tap the D-pad, like Mario turns like in degrees, but like the actual movement, even if you're using an analog stick, is like just 8-way. So I'm like, well, right. I'm just going to use the Super Nintendo controller then.
Well, okay then. Then you do that.
Oh, let's read the instructions on how to enter.
Yeah, I played a little bit this the other night on Friday. I been playing some games on this projector that I'm doing a video on, and so it's kind of my first experience playing games in that way. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's kind of amazing.
I mean, you played on the one I sent you a bit.
But I wouldn't say that I sat there and like played a game for real. Like I put it on the side of the house, like outside, but not really too much down.
Like sit down here and play a game. You're like, I'm gonna play through this game.
But I mean, I would just like with the other one, I felt like I had to kind of make certain compromises in my setup like I need to be like, oh, I got to set this to be this resolution. I got to run it through like a HDMI splitter, blah, 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 to get it to like work right.
Mm-hmm.
So I just didn't really use it that much. But with a 4K projector, I can just plug it in, and I don't really have to make any compromise. I can just play everything. You know, so I just think it's a very cool experience.
Yeah. They've definitely renamed some of the enemies, but for the most part, it's the Ted Woolsey script. Like, I don't remember what this is called, but I know it's definitely not called What.
What? Anyways, there's $4.99 from Dadbot Game Squad.
Oh, thank you. Another old friend.
Yeah. Saying my first RPG, my childhood. Hope y'all are doing well and happy Thanksgiving.
Well, hope you as well.
Thank you. And you know, you're summing it up.
Oh,
right there.
oh
like
my gosh, Mario is dead. I mean,
wow.
fighting a mimic is, I guess, risky business. Oh, I can't use the gauge move list with Mario dead. Oop. I switched the control style to where I'm pretty sure this is how the Super Nintendo one is, where you hit the button for like the associated item rather than the so you hit X again rather than A, which is like throwing me off a little bit, but oh, I got a freebie.
But yeah, I know that I'm sure people are not excited about like a projector video, but I had never really played on one. And when BenQ, like they liked the video that Try did like 2 years ago around.
I mean, who even
like,
knows?
I mean,
I don't even know if they saw it, honestly. Obviously,
well,
they didn't write us off of their press list, though.
No, they wanted you to like post a segment of it on like the Amazon reviews or something.
Oh yeah, did I do that?
You might have. Either way, when they offered to send another one, I had just gotten this screen over the summer at a yard sale, like a really nice screen. I'm like, it's like a hard thing to say no to. Mm-hmm. I mean, I can definitely like talk about it and like, you know, kind of review it, but also, you know, I really wanted to talk about the experience of playing, you know, different games on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you cover like most things that people would need to know in that first video.
Yeah, just kind of exploring.
There's no reason for me to redo that. And not only that, but you just had access to so many different pieces of equipment,
right?
For it to make sense.
Well, because I've been tinkering with it for years,
right? So I'm just gonna talk about like what it works with, and you know, like what the experience is like. Playing like certain games or genres on a screen that big. I just think it's just kind of fun.
Yeah.
So, but there will be like a pretty like that, and the Retrode 4K video will be out like very close to each other.
Yeah, we're not really sure which is going to come first. I guess it just depends on who finishes first.
Right. I mean, I'm really pushing to try to finish. You know, like by Wednesday at the latest.
I mean, same.
But in a perfect world, like they'll both be done, and then we'll just release the projector video first, and then we'll do the Retrode a few days, like 3 days after that, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I really want to finish it before Thanksgiving. I don't have the most faith in my speed, but I'm trying really hard. I mean, you looked at what I had left. I mean, it doesn't look like that much, but you know, we'll see what I can do. I would love for that to be past me by Thanksgiving. That would be great.
Yeah. Bob's your uncle. This projector does not support 4K 120. It wouldn't even matter because I don't have a HDMI 2.1 receiver or anything like that, like in my setup.
I mean, you could directly connect a system to it. But...
Oh, well, of course, but it would be not nearly as easy or convenient. I like how convenient things are in making it right now, because I can just run exactly like I just ran another HDMI from like a splitter that I already had over there, and it just goes into the projector.
I'm curious. I think it might be based on what I looked up, but I can't remember specifically if it's a pixel shift projector. Like
it is one.
Okay, yeah. Which I kind of like it because, like, for example, you're playing Mario RPG on it in 1080p, and
right.
And like so it's like it's natively 1080p, which I think is kind of cool.
Exactly. And
I think that, and you still
like 1080p like looks better than the 4K on it, anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just like those little bubbles, kind of like the bubble.
Yeah, like everything is like that. I think I sort of said in the video, like each pixel is like nestled in its own little bubble, right? Like it feels cozy.
Yeah, exactly. There is an option to force a 4K upscale for things that aren't.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like a toggle. Like I think that based on like what's in your video and like what you talk about, a lot of that stuff has been either streamlined or rolled into other settings or just like removed, because it's pretty straightforward overall. Like there's not like the like game mode fast or whatever. There's not that stuff, or there's like a lot of different settings that in yours that are not present in this one. And I think that they just either remove them or streamline them in the fact that like just turn them off and made them invisible, or maybe retitled them. Anyways, there was $5 Canadian from Waifu for Life. Thank you. Saying, anyone else notice that they dropped the subtitle for the subtitle of Legend of the Seven Stars in the West? It's never used in Japan, for those who didn't know.
Yeah.
It was never used in Japan, for those who didn't know.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's also so weird because they've stuck so close otherwise. Like again, mostly using the Ted Woolsey script. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So that guy, like, well, they've done this thing where they've added these special enemies where like there's just a harder version of the enemy. And you can get things like frog coins after the battle for fighting them, which is kind of funny because, like the whole plot at the beginning of the game is like getting Malo's coin. It's like, but you're getting like tons of frog coins fighting enemies. Ooh, super jump.
There's also $10 from Chicken and Fish.
Ooh.
Let's see if I can make this happen here. I don't know if that came through. Did it come through?
I think I'm going to, hopefully this, like it was screwing me up at first, and then, but like, I think, let's see.
Chicken.
I think
that came through, right?
I think I'm going to switch to this because it keeps throwing me off
to
do
the
like
chicken.
XX.
I mean, it should be coming through.
Yeah, I think I heard it. We
haven't heard these in a while, huh?
Yeah.
We haven't heard that in a while. But Chicken and Fish, or and Fish said, I remember 12-year-old, a lot of, I assume you mean like, I remember being 12 years old, a lot of Hot Shots Golf and Gran Turismo 2. Want to buy a Mario RPG if I can find a few bucks off this weekend. I got a basic upholstery cleaner this week. It's cool.
Oh.
Brave Fencer Musashi forever. I started Brave Fencer Musashi, and had not found enough time to play it since. After rescuing the dog, so I'm still pretty early.
Oh, you started it.
I did, yeah. I mean, these games ain't gonna beat themselves before the end of the year.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm gonna. I mean, obviously, I'm not gonna do them all.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna finish them all.
You're not even going to start The Witcher 3, probably. Oops.
I mean, probably not. But I feel like I could probably finish the other ones, but we'll see.
As you can tell, I've not exactly remembered my way around this level. I mean, it's been a long time since I played through this whole game. Like, back in the day, I played through it a bunch of times. I mean, I've probably, like, played through it more times than anything else that you would call an RPG. But,
yeah. Yes, I do mean the Dog Leno.
Power mushroom.
Oh yeah, you know, I just downloaded the Steam Deck optimized version of Half-Life recently.
Oh.
Actually, like recently, as in immediately before this stream. Henry Clark is saying that he got lost on this part.
Yeah, like I said, sorry to start the stream on sewers, but it's where I was.
Yeah.
Like I was going to start at day one, and then I'm like, I should finish the Retro Tink video instead, and I should also finish Lunar 1, and then I should play this, and then I'm like, but I have to take a peek. And then I played, I played up to the Mushroom Kingdom on Friday, and then last night I'm like, I have to hear what the Weapon Boss remix sounds like. I have to play at least that far. Which, that remix, by the way, is like probably the one I'm most disappointed by. I listened to it again on YouTube a bit, though. And it started to grow on me a bit, but I feel like it feels really different than the original version. I really like most of the remixes so far, though. But that one I'm a little unsure of. Anyone else feel that way? The weapon bosses, like Mac or Clay Morton, as he's called now.
That's interesting. So they changed certain names like that.
Yeah. Well, like, I think that was like originally like, cause like I looked up the names of like the enemies in like different regions, and they're all like really different. Like the main boss enemies, they're all really different. And oops. Man, I was on the right track, and then I just like I got off. But yeah, like I guess Mac was supposed to be like a reference to like a song or something, so maybe that's why they changed it.
Oh. You want to know what I really like in this though? Is the that they have some of those like those I guess those stock Square sound effects.
Oh yeah.
Are still like present.
Yeah.
And just like maybe enhanced a little bit.
Yeah, it's like neat hearing like kind of like a new version of it, right?
Yeah. Because I mean, those were, like the magic sound from like Final Fantasy is like also in Chrono Trigger. It's just like the sparkly sound. Like a lot of that stuff was used in this. So it was cool, like hearing that they were still present.
Oh my gosh, why am I so lost? I should not be this lost. I swear I've played this game a million times, just not in any recent year. I'm really curious to see what Balome is going to look like. Oh, I have to drain the water. Or is that later? Do we come back here later and do that? I bet I need to get there.
It would be really cool if
That's
like,
what
this was like the entire stream.
Would that be super cool?
Yeah. Someone said earlier that they weren't sure. They didn't really like the Mario and Peach character models. I mean, I feel like they just look accurate to the time. I mean, to the time period, right?
Well, I can understand it. Like, I kind of wish they like what I like is that that they've not shied away from making this look very off-brand, right? I think that's pretty cool. You know, it's off-brand, and that's okay, you know?
Yeah.
And so can I hit the boo at all? Okay, I can't hit the boo without magic. But at the same time, I almost wish they leaned into it even more, like really made them look just like mid-90s CG models. I can understand why they didn't.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a hard sell for people that didn't play it, probably.
I feel like that would be real cool though, wouldn't it?
Well, it would be, but for us, I feel like I don't know. Like I don't know if people will feel like, oh, this kind of looks cheap anyways.
I mean, it's clearly a lower budget thing. I mean, it's a Unity game.
Mm-hmm. And it definitely, like, you know, skips and stutters here. Like
Yeah.
Early on, like fairly often, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I bet on Henry Clark's, you know, modded Switch with unlocked clocks. I bet it runs pretty darn good. There's Bloom. It's so funny though, seeing like the exact same lines being written. Like it's, you know, you see this as like this modern remake, but like this like very like Super Nintendo style this Ted Woolsey style writing. Like yeah. I'm actually quite surprised that they didn't just completely retranslate. I mean, there's things redone.
You think he's credited at all?
I'll be really curious to see. I mean, really cool it's really cool seeing like a version of Balome that's a little easier to parse, because I like never like quite tell like what are those things on the side of his head, but I guess they're supposed to be arms. I mean, Square had some weird ideas for like.
Are you sure it's Balome? Because Lord X Mutant is saying, is it Balome or not Belome? Or I think it looks like Balome.
I mean, I was 12.
Below me.
Like anything that has a unique name in this game is going to be said the way I would have said it when I was 12 years old, because it was like stuff like Balome was burned into my brain. So let's do that. Let's do this. It's like a 50-50 chance whether I'm going to like hit the A button to confirm or hit the Y button, or like, you know, the associated direction with it. I'll just get used to doing the A button way, because I keep screwing up on the other one too. Let's see if we can do enough to do the Monster Town challenge here. Apparently not.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's got to be below me because he's underground.
Oh, you think it's a pun?
I didn't realize it until like I said it out loud, and then Lord X Mutant is saying the same thing.
Below, I mean, maybe. I mean, I wonder what his Japanese name is.
I don't know.
Man, when I did the there's a challenge in Monster Town where you like have to like you can get something for like doing a string of like 100 jumps or something, and like the timing changes after like a certain number of jumps. You have to like get into the rhythm, and like, man, I did it so many times. I remember like I had like certain techniques like if I put my arm over my head like this, and like I feel like I can feel the rhythm better. Like stupid stuff like that.
Well, if you feel that rhythm, maybe you could feel that rhythm in some other like rhythm-based games. You always talk about how
it's not a rhythm. It's just timing, but it's so the Yoshi races in this is like a rhythm-based thing, and I could not do it. I could not do it. Like I did not understand. Oh, the scarecrow stats effect. The Yoshi races I could not do. I could not figure out what it I just couldn't figure out like what sound am I supposed to be hitting on? You know, what am I listening for? And you know, as people know, I have zero musical aptitude, just none at all. And I actually got my mom to finish the Yoshi races for me. And eventually I figured out how to do it myself. But like for me, like when I succeed in rhythm-based stuff, it's like, it's a visual cue. Like something about that. I don't feel connected to the music in a way that like, I don't know, like rhythm games like has never made me feel connected to the music. Like the only time I've really felt connected to music is like in like the Mizuguchi type games, like Tetris Effect, because I'm just playing the game. And oh, you know, I meant to hit record on the Ninja 5. I'm gonna do that once on my mom.
You do that.
I tried to activate that H.265 thing before the stream, and I bought it, and then it said like invalid download token or something like that. So I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. So I'm just recording ProRes. But anyway, yeah, like I don't know. Like like when music reacts to my actions, I feel connected to that. But when I'm supposed to follow the timing of a music, I just don't get it.
There was another $5 Canadian from Waifu for Life.
Oh, thank you.
Listen, with that, we can buy at least like the ultimate editions of many of the waifu or hentai games on the eShop. You can buy many of them because they're usually on sale for $1.99 for the ultimate edition.
Well, there you go.
But Waifu for Life says, now you can play with Mario's face for the latest test build of the Mr. N64 core. Robert is an FPGA god. I only asked him about this 4 days ago.
That's amazing.
So I bet you that it goes public. It goes out of beta and goes public on Christmas. That's just my guess.
Oh. So I want to say in the original version of the game, there's a limited number of frog coins. So I'm suspecting that the reason that you can get so many more frog coins is either one, they didn't want you to be able to miss anything, or two, there's more things you can buy with them. Huh?
Is there a tunnel and a waterfall there?
I honestly don't remember what that is.
I mean, it looks like a tunnel.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like you're supposed to avoid too. Like, I know that. I mean, I'll try going into the next one. Like, they connect in some fashion. Ooh, look at that Super Nintendo Mode 7 effect there. Yeah, they just like, I remember now, there's like certain tunnels that just kind of, oh, I managed to get a frog coin for going in that one.
Let's see here. I was gonna comment on something and I lost it. So Robert is working on something. Did it disappear now? Or did it calling it like TLB or so? What is it? TLB. What is Robert starting work on TLB is very exciting. What is TLB?
Probably some obscure part of the hardware functionality.
Yeah.
I wonder if it could be the thing that makes the dither ghosting effect, like when you tell with like the vanish cap in Mario 64, because that didn't work correctly.
I feel like that's one of the things that was fixed. It's like that's.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that got fixed a while back.
I mean, it's pretty common for that to not work right in emulation.
Yeah. It's a translation look-side buffer to cache for VM translation, virtual memory. The translation tessellation buffer cache virtual machine rotary girder. You know, the things that make it work.
Things that make it work.
They're if I ever made I feel like the Mars should be renamed the Retro Encabulator.
Retro Encabulator?
Yeah. I've talked about that on the stream before. It's just this old video where this guy is like talking about this piece of machinery and uses all these like fake words for everything. but it's called the Retro Encabulator. I feel like the Retro Encabulator would be a very good retro system emulator device name.
Would that be one you would trust though?
It doesn't matter if I trust it. I mean, I would use it. I would try it. No, it's not like it's gonna blow up my house or anything, or empty out my savings account or something like that.
Ooh, a Koopa shell. Man, it always throws me off that you don't go the menu by hitting the X button. You bring up like a quick select.
Yeah, I'm annoyed by that. I kind of hate it when like main menus come up from hitting start.
I get it. I want
to be on X or on triangle.
Yeah, I want that too. Like it's okay for like an action game, but like for an RPG, I want to always be X.
Yeah. There's $19.99 from Paul Sutton.
Whoa,
thank you.
Saying
I'm working on my theme for next month. Instead of the usual Christmas themed games going on display at the store, I'm interested in the last game received as a Christmas gift that you were super excited to have received.
Ooh.
The last
like that you were
game.
super
Essentially before
excited.
we could so that would be early or late high school probably for me, because I mean it was never as it's exciting.
Yeah, because nowadays oh no. Okay.
The last game.
Yeah, because now it's okay, I could just buy this game, but I'm going save it for Christmas, right?
Yeah. The last game. That's a good question. Let me think on that for a
probably
minute.
The last one that was a total surprise was Donkey Kong Country 2. Because after that, it was I mean, I guess I kind of asked for that. Like my parents were like aware that this was like a game I really wanted. I had rented it, and I really wanted it. But I didn't think I was going to get it for Christmas because like my mom, like for a very brief time, like kind of adopted this policy of like, well, I don't want to get you video games for Christmas because that like just overshadows everything else.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can't help it if video games are just that good, you know? So, you know, Christmas came and went and, you know, went off and played with my other whatever I got. And then, like, my mom, like, you know, about 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or so was like, hey, there's another present under the tree that we missed. It was Donkey Kong Country 2. And so yeah, that was probably the last time I was like genuinely surprised, and it wasn't just like I asked for it and I expected I would probably almost definitely get it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say that mine was probably Lunar, but I like asked for that. But probably Lunar or Silver Star because, you know, that would have been, you know, like 93, so 93, 94. So that, I mean, I feel like that would make sense. The timing would be correct. And that's the last time I remember really loving a game so much that I just like actively did not want it to end. So I'd only let myself play it at certain times. I still finished it in a week, but I would say like I'm only gonna play it after like 8 o'clock. For the entire week. Like that week, it was during that week between Christmas and New Year's. It's just like a real special time. And I feel like that is a little slot in time that I mean just that week, which is one of the reasons I'm trying to get the my segments of the year-end video done ahead of time, because I'd like to just be able to re-experience that where I just sit and don't have to like really think about anything and just, you know, maybe I'll play a game, you know?
Yeah. Play The Witcher 3.
I don't feel like, oh, I got to be working on this thing, you know? So that's the goal, I guess. But it's just that little like pocket of time.
You know, I have to confess, you know, the first time I played this, you know, again, like I was not used to like really story-driven games or, you know, event triggers and stuff like that. And like when they say Malo's a tadpole, I'm just like, well, that's a strange looking tadpole, but okay. Like I didn't consider to question it.
Yeah.
I mean, there hadn't been frogs in Mario before, I don't think, so I don't know, you call that frog, it's frog, I guess. But we
Corey G says you could just
here.
take a break, show some reruns, and I'm like, have you like looked at the channel? I feel like that's like all we've been doing. But I mean, like I just want to get done, and I feel like the year-end video is the only thing that we've like been consistent with. I mean, I guess the streams we've been very, very consistent with, but we definitely have not messed up the year-end video since we started doing it.
Yes, it's a sacred promise.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't miss that.
But the idea is that I will try to be done with it at like way ahead of time, so that I can take that time and just, you know, just because I don't have work, just sit back, play a game. It's where I'm not like actively planning anything else.
That would
It
be
just
so great. That sounds real nice.
like this like a pocket of time that just exists outside of reality.
Yeah, man.
But you know, I make a vow to return to that time at 45 years old. See if we can do it. Anyways, okay, so you got Super Nintendo and Sega CD covered for the store. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's always fun. Like last year, you asked for some suggestions on like, I think I told you like Klonoa was the suggestion I gave you for something. It was a different theme last year, or was that? You had like a monthly theme or something like that.
You're not a tadpole.
Live Alive or Live Alive or Live Alive,
however you say it,
was more of a facelift than this, is what Mizu says.
I mean,
I totally agree with that, but
I mean this is very, very, very faithful to
and I think that's kind of a fun thing.
Yeah.
$4.99 from Alex Kusanagi or Axel Kusanagi. Thank you. Saying this versus SNES MSU and HQ2X filters. What would you pick? I'd probably pick this because I'd rather just play the original, like, you know, as it's supposed to.
Yeah, I mean MSU with like a. Yeah, I mean I don't know. I just don't really have a lot of interest in MSU stuff. I mean, it might be interesting seeing MSU version with the remixes from this, but yeah, HQ2X filters I would absolutely not be using. But I don't know. Is it weird to not dislike how pre-rendered graphics look on 16-bit systems? Like this and Donkey Kong Country were like such huge games for me, and it's like there was never like a span of time where I was like that distant from them, right? Like it wasn't like, you know, I put them aside for 15 years and came back and I'm like, oh my gosh, this doesn't look like I remember, right? Like I always had like a working knowledge in my head, a realistic assessment of what pre-rendered 16-bit graphics looked like. So the look of them doesn't offend me.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that I look at those and I still, like, you know, at the time I thought, oh, that looks really good. And that looks like it looks cool. I don't think that it looks bad looking at it now even. You know, it's just, I don't know. Heck, it looks better than that Walking Dead Destinies game.
Yeah, this is clearly a lower budget thing. It was not internally developed. It's Unity engine, you know. It would have been nice to see them just like go super all out. But I think it's respectable for what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about them holding up, I guess. It's just like but they do have a charm.
They do have a charm. I mean, Square, honestly, Rare was like light years ahead of everyone else for many years. Like even something as like big as Final Fantasy VII, like is you know, as much as people were into that for like, oh, the FMVs and everything, like the FMVs suck compared, even like the full like body proportions FMVs, like they're terrible compared to like Rare's pre-renders for like Donkey Kong Country 2. It was like at least 98 before anyone caught up to what Rare did in 95 in terms of like CG graphics, in my opinion. Like, you know, and this was like the beginning of Square's experiments with CG characters and stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, how much they improve between 7 and 8 is insane.
Oh yeah. But
so are you playing this through the Tank 4X on your end?
4K
or 4K? Sorry, 4K. It's 4. We just changed the X. It's the same thing.
I'll deal with the Todovsky stuff later. Yeah, I am. I mean, not that it makes a terribly obvious difference from this distance. I'm not playing with black frame insertion since I don't feel like the game would benefit terribly much from it. Wow, I kind of like completely forgot about this level.
There's $9.99 from David Fuentes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying hello and happy Thanksgiving. Do you have divided opinions with the triple attack gauge being added to improve the turn-based battle in the game?
The triple attack gauge.
I haven't seen that yet. Maybe you haven't seen it yet either because maybe you need 3 people.
Oh, like for the chrono trigger style thing. Yeah, I saw something that kind of was about that. I mean, they've also had this like meter where when that's full, you can like summon Toad. I assume later other things. Another thing they did was if you do a good timed hit or action command, as Toad called it. I actually skipped that tutorial, and I shouldn't have because it seems like they added some new stuff. Like if you do a really good time with the action command, then like adjacent enemies will also be hit like it was just there with the starfish. So yeah, I mean, they added some elements and they also added like the tougher enemies. So like it kind of balances out. Like I think it's not bad that they changed a few little things like that.
Mm-hmm.
I like the spirit of the triple attack since that is very like of the era, you know? I like the idea that they included that just because it is a concept that's like very much like of the era. You know, like Chrono Trigger, right?
Yeah.
I don't like the timing on that on the Thunderbolt special. It feels, I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird.
I don't know if it's actually off, but like I'm pretty sure I remember in the original version, like there was more of like a when you hit the timing, like it felt like it had more impact. Like I do think regardless of what anyone thinks of, the old CG graphics versus this, I do think like Square's magic effects were much better. Like they were masters at that, really.
In addition, David Fuentes wants to have some tacos El Pastor for them.
Oh, I love Mexican pork.
Yeah,
like that
little pineapple in there.
Yeah, like I go for barbacoa more than Al Pastor, but I love that crap.
Also, Mizu is saying, can we be honest? Final Fantasy VII was the hit that it was because it transported their great gameplay, including the non-linearity and world map, into 3D. FF8 was not the same because they totally dumped the non-linearity that FF7 had.
Does FF7 have non-linearity? Does it?
It felt like you could walk around and find stuff. I don't know. Like, but I'm not.
I don't feel like.
I think that.
I don't feel like
that's what kept the people. But was a hit because those CG cutscenes made people who weren't into the genre want to get it.
Yes. I mean, I would say
that like that got them in the door.
It was the
gameplay that kept them around.
Yeah, I mean, and the story. I mean, it was a lightning in a bottle situation. You know, it's something that you couldn't. It's something you couldn't hope to recreate. You know, the circumstances that led to just this cultural phenomenon, right? But you know, I think 8 is very good. You know, I like it a lot, but it's certainly, you know, 7's amazing. You know, I mean, I consider 6 my favorite, but you know, no matter how cool it is to say like, oh, Final Fantasy 7 wasn't actually that great of a game,
I don't think we hear that very much anymore.
Yeah,
there was maybe a time when that was like happening a bit, but I don't think that's like a common sentiment.
Yeah, I think that's died down a bit, but like it absolutely deserves its place, and I easily consider it my second right after 6. I mean, and they're not that far apart either. Like, I mean, I really do think 7's amazing.
Yeah. There's also $5 from EB Chill, with no message this time, but thank you.
Thank you.
Zane's dad also has been a member for 33 months. Asking, is that a November beard? Looks great on you, Coury. Thanks. You know, it's just been pure laziness. Although, you know, I just said to my wife, like, I'm just gonna like let it go for a little bit, just see what happens. I'm gonna rock this in this projectors video. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I might end up wearing.
You should try to make it to the end of the year
on my head, because my hair. If you can't tell on here, but you get it under the right light, and it is like you can see that.
Oh yeah, it's pretty long.
Well, it's not that. It's the fact that it's like kind of gray. It's like very gray.
Oh.
You can see like a difference in the coloring. Like this is definitely like a grayish. So. But thank you. I mean, I'm just gonna do it.
I think it would be funny if you just like, you know, didn't shave for the rest of the year, and like shot your on cam for the games we played as late as possible.
That would be very funny, I think. What I was thinking about doing next year, since I'm kind of found a rhythm of doing like a game a day type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about just kind of doing it throughout the course of the year, and then and also shooting the on camera as I do it. And it would be kind of cool to see.
Oh,
because you know, like the setup tour, I'm just shooting it, like the on camera stuff, like as I come to it, and I'm like wearing different clothes and everything.
I mean, that's an interesting idea, and it would kind of keep you more like actively engaged, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. Don't feel like I need to, like, just, you know, get all like cleaned up every single time.
Right. Yeah, I like that idea. I mean, now that I've got the Ninja and like I'm recording on it right now, I'm thinking about just like the day after a stream, just if I finish a game on a stream, whether it's a MLiG or Backloggery stream, I'll just do my segment on that game.
Yeah, I mean,
just do it the next day.
Yeah. The key to it is to not let it build up, though.
Yes. And, you know, try to keep them like under 2 minutes or something, you know.
Yeah. Anyways, there was Joshua Eichert has been a member for 9 months in a row.
Wow. Thank you.
Thank you. Saying, playing some Super Mario RPG on SNES while watching Try play the remake. Enjoying the best of both worlds. Fun stream as always. I'm glad that you decided to do it. I suggested it this morning, saying like, I just think that it's a game that you've played enough that you don't really feel a need to like zone in on the story or the like. There's no real need for that.
Yeah.
There's things you pick up, but the general story beat and progression.
Yeah. So, I mean, like I said, I completely forgot about Rose Way here. Forgot about this level, but, because it's been a long time, but I've played it so many times. And like, I definitely know enough stuff to like recognize like, oh, that's different. That changed, or that's exactly the same. Like I recognize, I mean, I practically had the script for this game memorized when I was a kid. So it's it's neat seeing the little differences here and there. But yeah, like I got some modded systems back this week, which was the Xbox isn't modded, but it's just fully refurbished, fully recapped system, power supply, disk drive, rebelted, because I've had such bad luck with Xbox. Like I wanted it to be as 100% 100% refurbished as possible. No doubts about it, right? So I got that. I got an RGB-mini Game Gear, and what was the last thing? Atari, S-Video and Composite Mod Atari. The Tim Worthington doesn't sell the RGB for Atari anymore.
There's $3 from Jonathan Hinson. Thank you. Saying, happy Thanksgiving, fellas. Slap or yeet of Doom, 8-bit era RPGs, 16-bit era RPGs, or 32-bit era RPGs.
Well, I'd get rid of 8-bit first, although I really like Dragon Quest 2, 3, and 4. But also you could get those with the 16-bit or 32-bit RPGs.
Yeah, well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, I would like if you're keeping the 32-bit era RPGs around. There's like a lot of like ports. You still get like the Final Fantasy Chronicles, although that stuff would probably go if there was no. If the 16-bit was gone, that means that those would cease to exist also. Although, I mean,
I think it's just for you. Like, you are not allowed to have. Like, I don't think it necessarily means it doesn't exist for anyone. Although the slap or yeet rules better than I do.
I mean, just one of them, like two of them go, and you
like. But I just assume it's for you, not for everyone in the world.
Right. I mean, I think that I'd probably keep 32-bit, even though I think that is a generation where they started to get overly complicated.
Right.
Every game had to have a new system or something like that, but it hadn't reached like PS2 era stuff, which I think I stopped playing a lot of RPGs in the PS2 era because I just felt like everything was overly complicated, and you had to really learn something new every single time.
Yeah, man, I'd have a hard time choosing between 16 and 32-bit. That is really tough.
Yeah, I just think that there's more 32-bit era RPGs in general.
Probably.
But
and more that are translated as well.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I personally probably have more 16-bit era RPGs. Like, there's a lot. I mean, like he says, it is a slap or yeet of doom. So it would be really hard, but my gut tells me I would be happier sticking with 16-bit. I I think I would have more regrets. You know, I really appreciate the simplicity and purity and just fast pace of 16-bit RPGs, and 32-bit RPGs have it too, to an extent compared to, you know, like today, but but I just these names are new, I think. I remember that there's a Jagger that you fight, but these names for the Goombas and Magic Koopa are not in the original Ted Woolsey script, I don't think.
There was $5 from Carrie Renee Rose. Thank you. Thank you. Saying just wanted to check on you two and see you guys are doing. Also, simple question: is there an RPG you can go back to at any point? I'd say Final Fantasy IV. I could literally go back to at any point, and
yeah, anytime's a good time to play Final Fantasy IV. I mean, this you know, this is one that I've not revisited as often in I mean, but what RPGs do I revisit often in recent years? Not many. So I mean, this would definitely be one. Yeah,
I see a Mr. Dotson saying Final Fantasy IX, and I feel like every time I try to be like, oh, I want to play through Final Fantasy IX or like revisit it, it's like, oh my god, the loading at the start of every battle is so long, and it's like makes it almost unplayable because it's so long.
Yeah, man, the pacing of Final Fantasy IV is just like unrivaled. It's so good.
Oh, Shadow Mask says Grandia. Good choice. Although I've only played it once.
I booted up the HD version today to see how it looked with the Retro Tank.
Mm-hmm.
Not perfect, but interesting.
Yeah, well, it has the smoothing filter is forced, right?
Right, but you know, I was trying pre-scaling with it. It works okay, but the problem is that vertical scrolling looks a little janky when you do it.
There was also $2 from Robert Hernandez. Thank you. Saying next stream, Coury looks like Tormund Giantsbane. I don't know who Tormund Giantsbane is. Let's look up Tormund. I put in from Game of Thrones. Okay. The guy from the north. Okay, now I know. I don't. That would be very funny. I feel like if my facial hair did grow in that long, it would be red. It already has a red tint to it. I'd forgotten about him.
I think
I'd forgotten about like all of Game of Thrones, like post like halfway through it. I feel like. Oh man, the loading times are terrible. It's the kind of perfect customer Nintendo was imagining during the 5th generation. But to be fair, like at that time, I didn't think about it at all. It's only in retrospect
left,
now
left,
that
straight,
I feel
right.
that it's.
Do you remember that left, left, straight, right?
I don't know.
Left, left, straight, right. Left, left, straight, right.
Also, there was $9.99 from John H. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Saying Happy Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is early this year. It feels early.
Still 20-something.
Yeah, but it still feels early compared to normal.
I think this remix for the weapons occupied town, or town where weird Smithy gang stuff is going on. I think this remix is pretty top tier.
Yeah. David Fuentes with $9.99. Thank you. Saying, will there be a follow-up to the MLiG video on scalers now that the OSSC Pro is out? $350 so far, and the RetroTank 4K is coming soon with a whopping $750 price tag. Also, are you aware of the Pixel FX Morph 4K? And yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Well, we're aware of all of it.
There's gonna be a video like on all of them. There's just, the thing is, like, even with like the RetroTank 4K is like the only one that we've used.
Right.
And there's like nearly unlimited amounts of like combinations of stuff that you can do that it's impossible to do an all-encompassing video
like this
on.
The RetroTank 4K video. I mean, I'm close to finished with it. It's going to be like 50 some minutes, and it's going to feel like there's so many things that aren't covered.
Yeah, I mean, it's really only on one aspect of it, one input on it. But I mean, there's like, I do a little like an 8.5 minute analog segment on it, but
well, it's not even just about analog. It's like just some of the key features that I thought were important to explain, like black frame insertion and HDR and the filters that I thought should be explained before I got into the HDMI stuff. So it's like it's going to cover so much and also not enough. So this, we're at a point of the features on this stuff where not only can one video not cover all the devices, one video can't cover all the features of a device. Like that's how crazy things have gotten.
And also, I mean, there is stuff being added to it like constantly.
Oh yeah, like
sometimes like sometimes as many as 2 firmware updates
a day. Yeah, there are things in my script where I'm like, like it's already voiced and stuff, and it's like, oh well, that's sort of changed, and like I'm kind of playing it by ear, like over how much it really changed, whether I need to revoice it or not. It's like it could change from the time that it releases, the video releases, to the time the thing is in people's hands, even though we're on release candidate firmware now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's in some ways overwhelming, but it's also like like once you figure out the things that you like to do with it and how to do it, like it's not that bad. It's not like overwhelming necessarily, but if you like wanted to learn everything there is about it, it's a lot. It's so much.
It's so much, but also, I mean, I don't know if you had messed around with the auto sampling aspects until like I.
Well, I hadn't, because I've done so little with analog video.
Right, but I mean, there's so much stuff in it that is being added that will also take out all of the guesswork.
Yes.
And make it do almost everything for you without even having to even think about it. That's what's so cool, is that it can actually be as complicated as you want it to be or as dead simple as you want it to be.
Yeah.
And both provide like very great experiences. So the OSSC Pro is not positioned as a competitor. It's more of like, it's a pro version of the OSSC, which is great at everything it does. I mean, I hope that we get a chance to look at one in the future, and I do plan on replacing my OSSC with one at some point in the future, just to have it.
Yeah, I mean,
but it's not a replacement, and the Morph is HDMI only with a
at least to start with.
And also like that, I feel like we haven't seen it running yet, so it's hard to say like how it's going to match up. And not only that, but like
pictures,
the analog, when you get the analog add-on for it, like they're doing a 1-day sale on it. and it's like $50 off on Black Friday. But the analog add-on will add a little bit to it. But I do feel as though like it's definitely like there's kind of a hierarchy. I feel like, you know, the OSSC Pro is for like a specific set of people who don't want to do like this huge upgrade to 4K because it doesn't do 4K,
Right,
but
it's
wants
1440.
like some features, like it covers like the analog side of a lot of it, and then the morph like currently will cover like the digital side of it, and then it will be essentially like the Tink is like both of those things combined.
I mean, like
So when you
like the
consider,
Tink
like, the
just has
350
all of the
plus
inputs in
350,
one
like,
device.
it kind of run like, or the 350 for, you know, their Black Friday special or whatever, and it's like normally $400. Like I think that in a way, like the Tink is like the combination of those two things, which would equal out to be $750.
Right. So do you have to buy like the whole, like a whole, like is like the analog edition like the same price as the base unit?
Oh, I don't know. I don't know how much the
I don't know.
the analog add-on is going to be, but what I'm saying is the OSSC Pro for the digital, like for the analog side, like if you just wanted to have these two things like kind of working together, I guess. Because the analog,
if you were going to use OSSC Pro,
like if you were
with,
to buy an OSSC Pro and a morph to get
I
like,
see, yeah,
and I would say it like that would be like around the like that would be as much as the is getting the Retrode 4K, because the 4K is like both of those things combined into one.
Yeah. But
So
ultimately,
like roughly, like if you want all that functionality, it's gonna cost you $400 or $750 either way.
yeah. Well,
right now.
I mean, you know, the fact of the matter is, like,
I mean, I didn't even think of that until I started saying it. But it's kind of, it's true though, right?
yeah. I mean, basically, I mean that seems to be the case. But I wasn't thinking about using I wasn't thinking about how the OSSC Pro could pair with the morph. But like
if you want,
at the end of the day though, like, I mean, I think all of the, like, those ecosystems tied together could like do the same things, but there's also the matter of like, we just don't know yet really how broad the feature set will be. Whereas we know what the Tink does, because I think it's like unprecedented to my knowledge, like the broad base of, you know, I saw a post Bob made, or maybe it was on a podcast, I forget, but Bob made a comment somewhere that the OS or the Retrode 4K is like basically been out a year. Like if you consider like all the people who have been just using it and providing Mike with feedback and saying like, oh, you know, this isn't working right, or wouldn't it be cool if I could do this, or whatever, right? Like the wide base of people who have been using it in 2023, like we've been wanting hardware designers to do that kind of thing for a long time, right? Like get a whole bunch of people to be like really putting this stuff through their paces before they come out.
Right.
So, you know, that's what I think has been so great about the Retrode development process. And I hope all of these other devices are, you know, are as awesome as they can be, but we just don't know yet.
Right.
We don't have access to them yet.
Exactly. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter right now. There was also $2 from Axel Kusanagi, again, saying Final Fantasy IX Remaster with mods on PC. I mean, that would be an option. but one that I am unlikely to do, especially if it takes a while to set it all up and everything. I gotta pee real bad. So
Okay.
I'll be right back. I was like hoping
to make it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know anything about what mods are available for 9 on PC. I was actually capturing from it for the RetroTink video earlier today, the Switch version, which I think the upscaling on the HD version is like so bad. But you can kind of mask it pretty decently actually by pre-scaling it. It's not perfect, but I think it's better than just doing nothing because it looks pretty bad. You know, I could be remembering wrong, but I want to say the max HP is it's like 255. Max level's 30. I remember that for sure. Oh yeah, left, straight, right. Wow, the Octolot. I like totally forgot about that enemy. You know, this is probably I feel like this is unpopular. I don't know if it's unpopular opinion so much as just an uncommon party setup. But the more I played Mario RPG back in the day, the more I tended to make my party for the whole game Mario, Malo, and Gino. I think almost everyone thinks that you should do Bowser and Peach, which you should do, I would say, the first time through the game, certainly. You know, Peach is the better healer. Bowser's special moves require less precise timing than Gino's. But, like, man, Gino Flash is, like, kind of amazing. I mean, I feel like, I kind of feel like, I don't know, I've never like drilled into the numbers or anything, but I've always felt like, not always felt, but like for a long time, I've felt like Bowser's kind of a trick. Like of course you're going to assume he's like very powerful, but I kind of like Gino's magic better.
All right, what'd I miss?
Uh-oh.
Man,
We're both
was like the longest
mushrooms.
pee. You ever peed so long that you have to pee again while you're peeing?
Have you?
I feel like that just happened.
I mean, do you ever have it where like you just go to the bathroom just before you go to bed, and you like have to go to the bathroom again like within 10 minutes, and like it's like not an
That
insubstantial
sounds like a
amount.
urinary tract infection.
I mean, it's not, but
I'm
sometimes
kidding. I know it's not. Like, but
sometimes you just gotta go again.
yeah.
But it's like
Depends on how much
only
liquid you had.
when going to bed.
Yeah,
That's all the time.
only.
I feel like it's like psychological, like somehow like you're like, okay, I'm ready to go to sleep, and then like your body's like, well, let me see if I can come up with a reason for you not to go to sleep.
Yep.
90 seconds? Do you have like the world record, Shadow Mask?
90 seconds. Axel Kusanagi says, we need a video on the best ways to view old video formats on CRT. 480i, VHS, DVDs, and Laserdiscs.
On CRT? On CRT, the answer is...
plug it in.
Yeah, you should plug it in. That's exactly it. Like...
Can you imagine that? It's like, it has the whole intro. And then it's like, oh, you know what you do? You just plug it in.
That is...
Like,
that is literally...
Wouldn't it be funny if it comes out of the opening into the build-up to the ending credits music?
You know what else would be funny is if we're like talking about it on the stream for like months and months and months and months. Like I'm almost done with that. Watch the best quality for analog, legacy analog video formats on a CRT. Like I don't know. I think it's gonna be out by next stream. I think I can get it done by next stream. And next week it's like, oh, I'm sorry guys, I just didn't get it done. And then like after all of this build up. But it's just like, you just plug it in.
You just plug it in.
But it's true. Like,
yeah. Well, what Axel, I keep on saying Alex, sorry. What Axel was meaning was like from a PC. Like, I guess, like digitized.
That is something I've thought about because, like, you don't want to have to keep, running your, running your VHS tapes again and again, and some VHS and DVDs are like hard to get your hands on. Like, so you like if you have like a ripped version of it, yeah. That's something that I do think about sometimes.
We kind of talked about this recently, and it's how we did stuff. Like I would just find a used PS3 and play it on there.
PS3
and in composite out to the TV.
Yeah, set your PS3 to 4:3, and obviously make sure that your content is in the the aspect ratio you want it to be. PS3, like I still feel like it's just one of the most reliable video output devices. Like it just consistent frame pacing. As long as like your bit rate is like something it can handle, right? But it's I love the PS3 for that stuff.
Yeah. And you can do it like over your network also, because the PS3 hard drive, that's the most annoying part about it, is that it's formatted as it's FAT32, so the files on it can't be over 4 gigs. Although you can copy over your network, I think, and it will split it up or do whatever it needs to do.
I've got this like 16 gig flash drive from like, it's really old. It's probably, it probably is basically as old as the PS3. And bad luck. I like, to this day, it's like my main thing that I use to put anything on the PS3. I remember like I got my dad I don't want to deal with this Force underground stuff. I don't need to deal with that.
Decision.
I remember getting my dad a one of those 16 gig flash drives. I'm like, this is all the space you will ever need.
Yeah.
I didn't necessarily think that was all the space I would ever need, but I was like, for him, I'm like, that is all the space he will ever need. Maybe a bit of exaggeration, but
there was $4.99 from Trifton1. Thank you.
There you go.
Saying, cheers, guys. What's your favorite Mario RPG following this game? Mine is Superstar Saga. Rest in peace, Alpha Dream.
Yeah, it makes me so sad that I don't.
Two Paper Marios, and that's it. So
Huh?
I want to say Paper Mario 2. I Thousand Year Door probably.
Yeah, it would.
I've only played the 3 of them.
Yeah, it would probably be. It would almost definitely be Thousand Year Door. I really liked Origami King a lot, though, for sure. But I wish I liked the Paper Mario or Mario and Luigi games more than I do. Like, I don't like, especially because like they were Alpha Dream was like a lot of like people that worked on this game. And so it makes me feel weird that I don't love those because I love this. But I don't, it's hard for me to explain. Like, I felt like they kind of just became a lot of just talk. And like, just, you know, everything was leading up to a joke rather than just like exploring.
Like, get to the point.
Yeah.
Just say it, spit it out.
Yeah. And just like, I don't know. I really wished I liked those games more than I do. Like, I stopped after the third one, I think, which was good. Like the third one was definitely like the best of the first 3. But at the same time, like, it was kind of this situation where I'm like, I can recognize this is the best one, and if they don't get any better than this, then like, why am I even going to bother continuing, you know? And it felt really weird to like write off Mario RPGs, but I was just like, man, I'm just like not feeling the Mario and Luigi series. And then Paper Mario had a you know, a disappointing turn for a while there. But
there was also James Boone has been a member for 27 months in a row. Thank you. And James Boone starts out this message with "Evening, nerds." And before the rest, I want to just go back to a comment on our on the Chrono Trigger stream. There was a comment on the Chrono Trigger stream when I woke up this morning that I don't know if it's good or bad, but it has a smiley face at the end, so it could be good. And hopefully that person ended up liking it and saying, "Oh, this is great." Saying, "Ha ha ha, woke up to this dork ass shit on autoplay." With a smiley face. So I'm really wondering what Gil Flanagan 3910 if they liked the Chrono Trigger stream and thought it was fun, or if they thought like, oh,
nerds,
this is horribly bad.
Somehow like YouTube autoplay sent him down the path of nerds that he never even knew was on YouTube.
Yeah, and what's funny about it is that, you know, like, it was that one, and I feel like that stream was uniquely entertaining.
Yeah.
So I hope that, you know, Gil Flanagan ended up like saying like, I gotta check out more stuff. Anyways, there was also another $4.99 from Axel Kusanagi. Thank you. And asking the audience, does the PS3 ever give you HDCP trouble?
Oh, I mean, I think it's an active part of our everyday lives, and how our setups are configured is avoiding it. You know, for a second there, I was scared that Mike's HDCP implementation on the RetroTink 4K was too strong, because I thought I had everything routed through my splitters that strip HDCP, and it wasn't working. And I ultimately realized it was just like everything. It was just me getting confused on my own dang video routing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was like, oh no, like, I know that this stripper strips HDCP. Why is it not working? It's actually kind of funny. Like if it detects HDCP, you can see the image, but it's like megapixelated. It's like it paused in the middle of a Super Nintendo transition, like the Mosaic transition.
Oh, duh, of course. I also I missed the rest of James Boone's thing. I guess I got too sidetracked on this. Sorry about that. Thanks for the heads up, Henry Clark. But James Boone was saying, who's been a member for 27 months, that it went to Free Play Florida yesterday. Saw the Mars FPGA running, an irritating maze arcade cabinet, some pinball style games from the 1920s and 30s. It sounds like a lot of fun, a lot of a variety of stuff there. I know Henry Clark went to it too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I mean, I don't know. I'd
love to see the Mars
FPGA?
myself.
I mean, I'm excited to see more about it. They've mainly been. I think it's hooked up to. They were hooked up to Retrode 4Ks. I think, but actually, it might do 4K output.
I did see that Retrotinks were present.
They were
at the
there.
event.
Yes.
Yeah.
And next was there's 2 pounds from InGen UK. Thank you. Asking how'd you guys get started with video editing jobs? So I'm reading this comment, and I think back, I'm pretty sure that it was InGen UK who was a lot of times asking for a video on Treasure's history.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like this is very much a pulling a Thanos and saying, "Fine, I'll do it myself." So I mean, in other words, how did you get started with video editing jobs? Mine's pretty long and involved.
I mean, you know what's funny
I've talked about here and there.
I feel like when we, went to college and finished college, I finished college the year after YouTube launched, and there wasn't much to do with sharing video on the internet. It could be done, but it wasn't it just wasn't a common thing. It wasn't a viable career. There wasn't social media managers at companies and stuff.
Oh yeah.
And Adobe Premiere was not all that commonly used. That was what I used, but it wasn't that commonly used because it was all high level pro editing, and it was done on Final Cut. It was done on Avid, stuff like that. Nowadays though, I feel like the advice is so different from what our experience would have been, because now video editing is a fairly common everyday skill set, right?
Yeah. Oh, listen, I think a lot about if I was trying to just get into an industry doing that now, about how impossible it would be, because the tools to do good video edits are so widely accessible and available for super cheap or free. And I just don't even know that I would not be able to compete.
Yeah.
And, I had a friend who I worked with a whole bunch over the years, and he called me up and he's like, I have a friend who is an engineer, and he was maybe thinking about moving jobs, and he asked me, he says, you work in film and video. I've had a really good time editing some family videos and stuff. How would I get into how to pursue a job in this? Should I leave my job and try to pursue that? I'm like, no, tell him no, because that is I can't even imagine coming in now and not knowing.
Well, I feel so many people, especially people in marketing departments at companies and stuff like that, they are taking up video editing as like a secondary skill, right?
Yes.
Like they have to for their job because like everything is video. Like it's so crazy to think like this thing that like was like not that common of a pursuit that I wanted to pursue. You know, in my college years, like it's so crazy to think how widespread it is now. And you know, there's definitely, you know, there's pros and cons to like learning to do it, like quote unquote right. But what is right? Like yeah. A lot of people have figured out how to be really good at it or figured out how to break the rules in a good way, you know, by just learning it, you know, as a secondary skill or learning to do it just because they think it's funny to do TikTok or whatever. Like, you know, all like the weird, crazy editing that's on there. Like it's so different from our like professional background. And it's like, it's crazy how widespread it is.
We won't be able to compete now. Like that's the
no, because like video editing has become like a, you know, like you don't need to go to school for this kind of thing.
No, because you know? Like everything is so accessible that everybody just does it.
Yeah.
But what I did suggest though, I said you should tell this person who is an engineer right now, like if they want to do things in video, they should pursue like the engineering side of video. Like learn about video signals and, you know, like bit rates, like that aspect of it, because that is stuff that people doing this editing don't know about because it's all just like handled for them for the most part. You know, throw a preset on it and say, this is what I want it to be. Like that's the stuff I would learn about because that is the stuff that there is, you know, that there is like, you know, not enough knowledge out there or people that know enough about it. But anyways, like how we got started, I mean, mine's a lot more involved than yours. Like you worked at the school, you got a job at the school that you went to.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty much a gimme, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I say that, I mean, I mean, I was, you know, I had done a lot in, you know, my video classes to prove what I could do, right? So, you know, I guess it wasn't entirely a gimme. I had the, you know, I had the work to show for it, but you know, I didn't have to reach that hard for it. You know, I got pretty lucky.
For me, like I learned a lot of it in school, but also, you know, I was using like a pirated version of
Adobe Premiere. That's how everyone got started.
Before it was even Pro.
Oh yeah, well, Pro didn't exist for a while.
Right. And like but I used that like in my first year of college, and that you know, video editing was not even anything that I even thought I could do. You know, when I started college.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, it's just like a liberal arts degree that I was going for because I had no idea what I wanted to do.
Well, I didn't know that you could edit video on your computer for a long time. Like I never thought of it as like, hey, I like doing this and I could try to do this for a living. You know, it seemed like one of those jobs that existed, but you would never think that like you could do it. So it just never. Yeah, I mean, I was interested because me and friends did videos in high school, and I was like, you know, figuring out how to you know, edit video on VCR. Like I was figuring it out myself. Like I wasn't reading like, you know, like, oh, how do you do this? I was like, oh, like I'm like figuring it out. And, so I was interested, but like, I was like, man, wouldn't it be amazing if you could do like special effects on your computer? But no, that kind of stuff wouldn't exist. They wouldn't they wouldn't have that kind of technology available outside like Hollywood or something. Like I was just like, you know, it just wouldn't exist.
But
it amazed me when I learned like, oh, After Effects exists. Oh, like editing video on your computer exists. Like that amazed me.
But once I figured out that I could do that, because I had a project in one of my classes, and I was like, I'm gonna try to like edit some video on my computer like this way, and ended up just loving it a ton. And then I went to school and I learned another program called Media 100, which stopped being used immediately after I graduated. It seemed like it was on the rise for a long time. That's what we learned on. Because then that's when Final Cut Pro really hit its stride. So it I had to find an internship where I could like learn this stuff. So I went through a bad breakup, and I was like, I'm gonna move to New York, and I'm gonna try to get this internship at this place. And that's what I did. I got an internship, like answering phones, but it was like at a training facility, and I would answer these phones all day for 3 months, and I got as many classes as I wanted to take. And they were just like weekend-long classes. So I got to use all this stuff. Like, you know, that's how I learned Avid, is because, you know, Avid was still super expensive at the time. I mean, you know, this was just like Avid Adrenaline, like really expensive stuff. So I got to like, you know, get time on that and learn it. But probably the best thing about these classes is that there were other people like with actual jobs, like wanting to get into to expand their knowledge. Like producers, like since it's New York, there was producers like on certain shows at like MTV. And I would be in these classes, and the classes were super small. There was maybe, you know, 3 people normally, maybe 5 max. So you'd be in these classes for an entire weekend, and you just get to talking to people. And then, you know, they understand that you know what you're doing. So they say, oh, you know, like, can I give me your like information? And then we'll like, I got a call from somebody saying, hey, do you want to load in and digitize tapes on, what is it? Stacked with Daniel Negreanu. Was like it was like one of my first like loading things, and I just like worked overnight and just digitized footage.
They're teaching the triple tech here, I guess. Interesting.
Oh, that's cool. So basically, that's kind of how I got my first editing jobs, is just putting myself in a situation where I could meet people that could hire me in a way.
Star Raiders. Oh, Star Riders. I guess that's fairly cool, but Star Raiders would be a way cooler name.
Hopefully, that didn't go too much into stuff there and bore ya. Anyways,
so go make that History of Treasure video, all right?
Yeah. There's $10 from Mega X6. Thank you. Saying I saw this week is Sonic Mania's. I saw this week as Sonic Mania Days 30th anniversary, thanks to GTV Japan's new video. I figure I'll play some Sonic games this Thanksgiving in honor.
Wait, Sonic Mania? Sonic Mania is not 30 years old.
Sonic Mania Days.
What's Sonic Mania Days?
Sonic Mania Day.
Huh? What is Sonic Mania?
I think that it was like a day. I'll have to check out this video. It's been 30 years since Sonic Mania Day, which is not the same thing as the day that Sonic Mania came out.
Okay.
You know, it's funny that Shadow Mass says, it's good advice, Courtney. Buying tickets to GDC out of college was really helpful in networking. I'll see if I can. I'm gonna say thank you. I don't know if this is gonna show up. It's not gonna show up as me as it, because I don't know if my full name shows up there. It probably did because I was logged into my personal YouTube account. But I don't know if it shows up as My Life in Gaming for other people, because I logged out and logged into the My Life in Gaming.
Cool decision.
But it's just funny that you say, it's good advice, Courtney. Buying tickets to GDC out of college was really helpful with networking. Okay, you do see Courtney Carlson. Okay, because it may have been an accident, but I'm not sure if you knew that my full name was Courtney. But you probably did. Anyways, I think you should play the first Sonic and no other ones. Anyways, there was legendary K4 has been a member for 9 months in a row.
Wow.
I finally got my Extron Crosspoint up and running. Absolutely love it. It can even capture video using StarTech USB 3 devices now as well.
Oh, interesting.
So that's right. So you're going out probably.
So you're just doing like native
multiple
240p recording and then like upscaling later or something?
Oh, maybe. I don't know. Like I don't really know too much about the StarTech stuff. We got that 4K one, but then it like got like zero support, it seems like. Do you got 2 stars or 3 stars?
That's the second star.
Okay.
The third and fourth. Is it the fourth or fifth? The third and fourth stars aren't being held by Smithy minions.
Do you think that I should just in this projector video that I should have my lower third say Courtney Carlson? Do you think that'd be funny? I wonder if anybody would say anything. If it just said Courtney instead of Corey, that'd be kind of funny, just to do that.
People would probably just be really confused. Like people were like, when they saw that old yearbook thing of yours in some video, they were like, oh, that's an embarrassing typo. And I was like, well, no, that's not a typo. It's just what it is.
But it's funny, like if I'm ever picking up prescriptions or something like that, and the person I'm always getting the prescription from says, you know, do you have her information or date of birth? I'm like, oh, it's me. And it's this. And they're always like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, listen, I am so used to it at this point that it's not even a thing. You know, it was always happening since like grade school. You know, like first day, you know. I used to think Courtney John yelled down from the stairs. You know, my middle name is John. Actual first, I don't know if you're just saying that, but my middle name is John. And my uncle called me Courtney John. Anyways, there was $5 from Sneak Creeper. Thank you. Saying, have you guys ever watched SD movie on TV or shows on a PVM? If so, how did it look? For sure, many times.
I mean, I don't know if I've like watched like the entirety of a movie on a PVM, but I've definitely like, you know, tried DVD, and I look at it and I'm like, well, like we were saying earlier, like it's just perfect, you know.
Yeah, I like not even recently, but I recently was checking a VHS like on a PVM for a Project ACO, and I just like ended up watching the whole movie on my PVM off of VHS. It just happened. Sometimes it just happens.
You know, I was actually looking at some VHS and DVDs on eBay earlier because Drum and I on Thursday we watched a movie from Godfrey Ho. Are you familiar at all?
No.
He's this Hong Kong director who I was familiar with him from back in the day because a friend of mine had a VHS tape called Zombie versus Ninja.
Okay, that sounds familiar.
And Drum and I were starting to kind of look into the broader works of Godfrey Ho. And we watched one called Ninja Terminator, or it might have been, I can't remember if it was Ninja Terminator or Terminator Ninja. It was one of those. And my return to the works of Godfrey Ho was did not disappoint. Basically, he was like this Hong Kong movie producer, director, writer who he would like buy the footage from like an obscure martial arts movie. Like some of them came from, you know, China, Japan, Korea, all sorts of different places. He would like buy the footage for the movie and then he would like shoot his own scenes with like completely different cast. And he would like write a new story and have everything dubbed. And it's like supposed to be that like his footage and this other footage is like all part of the same plot. And it's like, it's a complete disaster. And it like in the most enjoyable way. And like apparently he did like nearly 100 of these maybe.
Yeah.
And I was looking up, see like are like, can you get like
what is it called?
Godfrey Ho is the name of the director, but the one that we watched was called Ninja Terminator or Terminator Ninja.
Okay, I was just so Dustin gave me access to his Plex, and he has like all these like random movies on there, and I was gonna see if he had Ninja Terminator, but when I do a search for Ninja, he just has Shogun's Ninja, The Ninja Mission, and Ninja Enforcers.
I wouldn't be surprised if those were some of them. But yeah, Zombie vs. Ninja is the one that I had back in the day.
Is Ninja Terminator? Kevin Shane is asking with $1.99 is asking if Ninja Terminator is the one with the Garfield phone.
Yes. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. There's like this guy who like I kind of thought like aside from the color of his hair, I thought he kind of looked vaguely like Pierce Brosnan, and he was like one of these like guys that stole the golden ninja warrior statue that when all three are together they can make someone a ninja Terminator who's like basically indestructible, and he was like calling up his minion on a Garfield telephone where like you like pick up his tail and like his tail is like the handset and his eyes are open when you put the phone back on the rest, like his eyes close and he sleeps. It was incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, it was good times. But like those would be such good movies to watch on VHS or DVD. But like I looked up Zombie versus Ninja, which is like I feel like you don't I feel like you don't hear that one come up when you see like lists of Godfrey Ho movies as much, but that was the one that my friend had back in the day, so that's the one I'm familiar with. And like it was like $80 on eBay.
Dang.
So yeah.
I just want to mention this really quick as like Paul Sutton wasn't even talking to us, but he just mentioned that one time he ran a PS2 playing the Game Gear version of Gunstar Heroes on the treasure box into the Game Gear's TV tuner. Which I think, I mean, I will salute you for that.
Yeah,
that is
brilliant.
That's some really outside the box thinking, and I think that it's rather impressive. I assume that it worked well, right? Nearly indistinguishable. Also, there was five more pounds from InGen UK. Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying thanks for sharing. I work in music, and it's the same story for me. I'll send you a link to the treasure video when it's ready, unless you beat me to it. I mean, sure, okay, so the Game Gear screen was bad. I wouldn't say it was useless. Like, it did what it needed to do. You got any there? It was awful. The image was scaled down and didn't fit the screen.
How do you get that? Is there like a roll mechanic I don't know about?
Yeah, is there like a duck?
I don't
Feels
think
like
so.
You run and slide under, right?
Oh wow, I've never seen a Mario RPG mole person in HD. 10 coins to do some Goomba thumping. I forgot about this.
Jeremy Paris did a Super Game Boy into a Game Gear tuner with a Game Gear with video out. It was so dumb and great. Yeah, I guess that next batch of pockets came and went. I guess the orange one lasted almost all day.
Yeah, I heard like pink and orange, I guess, were they were around for a while, which that's cool, I guess. Although it makes you worry that like, oh, they might not do a whole lot more runs. Like I kind of want another one sometime, but I just got 20. Next time try to get 22. I have some tabs and jars to spin and boxes. Yeah, let's do it again.
I liked how all those looked, and I do.
I would have definitely liked the green.
Yeah. If I knew those were coming, I would have gotten that blue see-through one. Well, I'd like the blue see-through one, but like I'm more of a sucker for like matte solid colors. Although I think all of them would look better if they had like black buttons on them or something. There was.
I think the plate loud ones.
I haven't forgotten about you, Scott. I got your package. I just added something else to it recently. I'm just putting stuff in it as I find it or I think of it. So I haven't forgotten you. $9.99 from Scott Snyder saying, "Good evening. I got this game on SNES at lunch, having no idea what an RPG was. Pretty bummed once I found out. Have you guys ever bought a game that was nothing like what you expected it to be?"
Well, I mean, I asked for Mario Was Missing for my birthday, not knowing what it was like. I mean, I was telling my story at the start of the stream. You know how I was like not into RPGs. Like I watched a friend play them and I was like very confused by them. And when he told me RPG means it's like Final Fantasy, I'm like, oh no. Of course, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan now, but at the time, like I didn't get it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that, you know, I talked about that in my Phantasy Star video from a long time ago.
Yeah.
Where I thought it was going to be something completely different. And once I finally got it, I was like, man, this sucks. I spent all my birthday money on this game and it sucks. Because, you know, you see the battle sequences in the magazine, like in the ads and stuff, and it looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But very much so. You know. I would bet more times than not the answer to that question is an RPG.
Yeah, I mean nowadays, like
RPG.
everyone knows what an RPG is, but like, you know, I was actually thinking of that, like, oh, it was one away. I was thinking about that just the other day, like when this came out, like about how, you know, this and Final Fantasy VII, you know, there was such a new experience for so many people. And I wonder if like younger people today, understand what it was like to where like, you don't even know what the word RPG means. You know, like these kinds of games were not common over here. You know, it's just such a different thing. You know, today where like every game has RPG elements, you know?
Yeah. You know, this projector has a 3D feature on it. Does yours have a 3D feature of it?
Yeah. I, you know, since it's not at my house, I've kind of gone through a lot of phases trying to test that.
It's not that hard if you get the right glasses.
Bob gave me some like when we visited him last year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it is hard though, because the only way I was able to, so I need to bring my PS3 and, I left at my parents' house cause I don't need it here right now. Like a HDMI switcher that has some EDID toggles on it. At least on my projector, 3D only works when you turn on like this specific 3D mode on it. It's like, right. I forget what the term is.
Yeah. It's frame, I mean, it just says 3D on mine.
Frame something.
There's like frame packing or something like that.
I forget what they call it. The 3D is only active when that is on. But
right.
The PS3 has to do a check to make sure that your TV is 3D before they allow you to activate it. And so when you do that check on PS3, on my projector, the 3D feature turns off, and the PS3 doesn't read the projector as being 3D capable when that feature is off. I don't think
it's the same kind of 3D. I think that 3D is for 3D TVs specifically. But let me tell you what worked for me, and you should try this. I'm not sure.
I just need to do it with the EDID toggle so that it doesn't lose that 3D on it.
And you got it to work then?
No, I need to bring my PS3 next time I go to my parents' house. Huh?
So what I did is that I went and found an Xbox game that supports has 3D. Gears of War 3 has an option for side-by-side 3D.
Oh, side-by-side, okay.
Yeah, and that's one of the options when you activate it.
But this, I mean, mine does support real, proper 3D. And I like, when I activate that mode on the projector, I can tell it's working. Like, but it's just not playing 3D content, but I can tell it's working. While I'm using the glasses. But what's kind of cool about it actually is like there's like some sort of sensor on the glasses, I think. And like when you're not looking at, like the active shutters aren't active. And then when you look at the TV, there's like, I guess like something in the signal of like how the frames display or something that like signals to the glasses, oh, it's 3D. You can like actually see like the active 3D shutters like activate. Yeah. It's kind of trippy. But the only problem is I can't actually get 3D content to display because like it only sends EDID that it is 3D capable when, dang it. Only sends that when that mode is on. For whatever reason, it turns off.
Try with an Xbox game next time.
Well, I didn't even know Xbox games had 3D support. I thought it was only a PS3 thing.
Yeah, I didn't realize it either, but then you look it up and I found Gears of War 3 has it.
Do you have to activate it in the system menu or just through the game?
It's just do it in the game. Yeah, but it worked. You got to like hit. I had to invert the signal.
On PS3, you have to do it.
It worked pretty well.
All these Yoshis are saying doing their Yoshi stuff. Oh, here's Boshi.
Those Yoshis. That gold.
He kind of makes a similar sound to his old sound.
But I was playing Gears of War 3 and like my son came home and he had never played Gears 3 or any of the Gears games, obviously. And he like loved it. I've been thinking a lot lately about kids and games. And I think with things like Roblox and Fortnite being such a popular and just really popular in that age group, I almost feel like there's a very small window for a kid to fall in love with like an older style game. And if they don't by a certain point before they become like really into those two things, it's not going to happen. I think that there's a small window for kids to get into that kind of thing.
Well, so are you saying
if they don't, then like the opportunity is basically gone.
So are you saying like platformers and old RPGs, or are you considering like Gears of War an old style game, or are you considering that new?
I consider that more newer. Like he was like into it. But of course, like he played it a bunch last night. It wasn't coming down today, and being like, "Oh, I want to play it some more." Like he didn't even think about it today. I just think that there's that window in a kid's life to play something like Mario.
Oh man, I'm going to do so bad here,
and like really falling in love with it. I think that what. You need me to be quiet? Yeah, it's hard going back. It is hard going
You're
back.
not getting it right at all.
I'm not even saying that. I just think that even like newer games that are of a certain genre.
Oh, let's just do this disaster.
I think. I think it doesn't even have to do. It could be like new games. Just like. Like my son, he's just like played Mario Wonder with me that first night, and then he like has no interest in playing it again after that. Like just didn't even think about it.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Just alternating them, or you got to do it to like on a rhythm.
I can't. I can't do it. Like I said, I got my mom to do this back in the day. I eventually figured it out, but like I don't have it right now. I do not understand. Like my brain doesn't connect with this.
X Dementor's friends SX is saying what helps me is pressing AABB over and over again instead of AB.
Yeah, well, this stuff is all optional. Is this a new area? I don't remember an area here. What's here?
Anyways, like I was saying, you know, I just think that it's you have to have a certain experience before you got to have an experience with certain genres and stuff like that before you have that first hit of Roblox, or like before you become like get really into it, I guess. It just seems like that window is small, and I think that both of my kids have missed that window to have like that experience.
Like those games are just like this like dopamine addiction, and like it doesn't like other games like they're just so optimized. Wow, that has a flat background, but it looks cool. But it's just like they're just so used to getting their feel good from like a completely different structure than what we are. This game makes me feel good.
Yeah. Let me find the. Someone asked about Outrun. I need to find it. Mizu was asking, where do you stand on speed with Outrun 2 versus Outrun? I like Outrun 2, but it doesn't feel nearly as fast. I think we need Outrun 2 to run at 90 or 120 FPS and run on said monitors. I feel like Outrun 2 does feel fast. It just I think that it feels like you have more control in Outrun 2, like with the drifting and everything. I mean, there's no drifting in the original Outrun, so I don't know, like it's amazing that they are as different as they are, honestly. And I think they're both like nearly perfect games. I mean, I would say that they're like beyond what most other, if not all other games in those genres have done, in those specific parts of the genre have done. I mean, I never felt that 2 felt slower. It just feels like you have more control about going around those turns in 2. Not good enough. I want that crazy speed feeling. I don't know if like a fully 3D game could like mimic that, because part of the feeling of what is making us go so fast is just like how fast those sprites are scaling. And I think maybe like with 3D models, like you just can't, it's too smooth, I guess. Would be too smooth, and I don't know, like the turns need to be bigger to accommodate for that, and the physics of it, I guess. I don't know if that makes sense. There's $2 from Joshua Helmicky, though.
Thank you.
Saying, you know what they say, Mark? No rhythm, no soul. That's what they said. That's what they say.
Yeah, well, can't do it. Well, the men folk be stuck inside too.
I like the little hopping and stuff. It's kind of nice. It's nice that they fully embraced like the movement of characters.
Yeah, well, I mean, the events all play out exactly the same, like the way that the characters turn to each other, the timing of, you know, the expressions. I mean, sometimes it does look a little strange, but like they're moving the same way they moved in the original. You know, they really didn't change up how the events work, except where they added like new things, like, you know, the triple. You see, like the way that she's backing out. Like I remember exactly how that scene played out.
I wonder how long it took them to make this.
Like I wonder if they were able to like get data from the original version or decompile it in some way that like made it so they could just like plug in some of the timing data into like
right. I mean, I wonder
like conversations and stuff, because it's pretty spot on in how that stuff plays out.
Paul Sutton asking the hard questions for $1.99. Thank you. Saying try $1 million, but you can only play rhythm games.
No.
You would not take $1 million
like
to only play rhythm games.
Like I would lose access.
If it just has to have rhythm in it.
I would lose access to like my favorite entertainment medium. $1 million feels like it's not going to enrich my life very much in comparison.
What if it was like $50 million?
That's a pretty hard sell. I mean, that you are basically asking me to give up video games.
But maybe you would find a new love in those rhythm games.
My brain is like physically incapable of comprehending them. Like it's just a hardwired aspect of how I am. I just can't do it.
Oh, that sounds like you're just giving up before for $50 million. You don't have to worry about a single other thing.
But
and
you could
hire a teacher to teach you.
But be so bored for the rest of my life.
I don't know. I think that's if it was like $50 million, I wouldn't even. I don't know. I only play rhythm games. I mean, whatever, right? I mean, it's not like you can not play them, but I mean, you would be able. I think that if you had the luxuries in life that $50 million would afford you, you could find a way to enjoy playing those games.
But I would resent them because of everything else they took away.
Okay, well, all right.
So I don't think I could enjoy them.
I mean, you can play Parappa the Rapper.
I mean, I would love to be able to play Parappa the Rapper, but not at the expense of everything else, and also not with the uncertainty.
I mean, like this. They got like rhythm aspects. Like this has rhythm aspects in it. Like if it's just this counts.
That's not rhythm though. You don't understand. Like I don't connect with the rhythm. It's like it's a visual cue. It's a visual cue that I sense when I do like the timing for the attacks. It's like the sound aspect of that timing just doesn't process.
But what I'm saying,
and I don't think normal people can understand that. But I don't. It just doesn't make sense. Oh, where's Yoshi? Yeah, double them coins.
They could be, yeah, rhythm. This is rhythm adjacent.
It's not.
But it's a rhythm section. Is what it was. I'm saying, like, it doesn't matter how you perceive it.
I mean, are you talking about the Yoshi thing, or are you talking about the battle timing?
The Yoshi thing.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were talking about the battle timing. That's not rhythm.
Right. That's just the visual cue.
Yeah, like the visual cues, like, you know, that's what I can do.
For $50 million, I argue that no rhythm adjacent games are allowed. Sorry. And James Boone is just saying rhythm is a dancer.
You're saying as long as the game has a rhythm mini game in it.
Yeah, so I mean, sure. But you could only play the mini game.
No, like if you can play the whole game as long as it has a rhythm mini game in it, or something, you know, I would assess what games that would allow, and make a decision from there. But
Paul Sutton saying for $1 million, but for every hour you spend playing a game of your choice, you have to spend 2 hours of playing Britney's Dance Beat. Can you imagine?
I mean,
to beat like a 40-hour RPG, you had to play 80 hours. Like, do you front load that or do it afterwards? Like, you have to like actively have to be playing it. Like, I mean, that in a way sounds less fun than being able to
than not being able to
play rhythm games forever.
I see. I would be much more inclined to consider that, but
there was $10 from Robert Hernandez. Thank you. Saying, I agree with you about teaching the littles to embrace gaming from our era. They might not gravitate towards the games like we do, but at least they'll know a gaming world without microtransactions. And I do agree with you, but I think that most kids probably don't even think about microtransactions costing money. If that makes sense. I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I just don't think that they think like, oh, I'm paying money for nothing.
I mean, I don't know. It's interesting. Let's see what our choices here.
Oh, I mean, this is huge. Well, first off, Junko 988 with $5 saying that Troy needs to get out of his comfort zone. 2024 should be the year of fighters and rhythm games.
So, not rhythm games, but I am going to attempt to play the Mortal Kombat, like starting with 9, or the one that's just called Mortal Kombat on like PS3. I'm going to try to play the story modes on the backloggery streams for those.
All right. There's $1.99 from Replicant also saying, I'll send $50 if Try plays Hi-Fi Rush on stream.
I mean, I did give it a try. I mean, there is like, I think that it does have a mode where you don't have to actually do the rhythm. I mean, but that's the other thing. Like I wouldn't, like, if I was attempting to do anything rhythm related on a stream, like, I couldn't do it while there was any conversation happening.
I haven't played it. I think I don't know if I even installed it.
I'm actually surprised Gino dances in this scene. He's just doing it because he has to. I do like how they did the level up.
Malone is saying they don't like to lose ever. They troll the game as soon as it gets hard. Yep, that's exactly it. And I can't tell you how many times my son will play a game and play the first level. He'll be like, "Actually, this is kind of easy."
Yeah.
Every time.
And like when I was playing Soul Calibur with him at the convention in Tennessee, he was like, I was only about half trying, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not like super good at Soul Calibur anyway, but I want it because I was trying to encourage him to play it. And he's like, "Oh, I'm not good at Street Fighter type games." I'm like, "Oh, but I'm not either, but Soul Calibur is different. I love Soul Calibur." So I was trying to encourage him to like it. So I wanted to give him a chance. And so, he's like, "I'm pretty good at this." And then, like, when he got home, he did play some Soul Calibur 6, right?
Yeah, but he played it for like one day and then forgot about it. Back to Roblox. Back to Roblox and starting every single sentence with bro. every sentence.
It's just... my cousin's son went through a phase. I don't know if this is a common youngin's word anymore, but he went through a phase where he would just say snap all the time.
Aw snap. Yeah.
Like it wasn't even aw snap. It was just snap. Like if he was playing a game and like anything like minorly inconvenienced to him, it's just snap. It would just pop out. Just snap. Oh wow, look at that Enigma. That's an enemy I forgot about. And there it is rendered in 3D.
There was $2 from Robert Hernandez. Thank you. Saying, Try, have you played Elite Beat Agents on the DS?
I have. I rented it when I did GameFly many years ago. Like people were just so convinced, like, "Oh, you just haven't found the right one." And it's like I played it, like, again, visual cues, but like I play like theater rhythm. Like theater rhythm, I would go, okay, that's music I know.
All these games have visual cues anyway.
Right, but then some don't really like the Yoshi stuff in this, right? And it's like, so it's like got these visual.
The A and the B down on the bottom is telling you when you needed to hit it, right?
But it's, I don't think so. At least, well, certainly on Super Nintendo you don't have that either way. I don't think that the A and B is actually telling you the timing. I think it's just saying use these buttons. But like here's the thing. Like I played Elite Beat Agents. I played Theater Rhythm. It does nothing for me. Like, sure, I can use the visual cues to progress, but whatever things I'm doing on the touch screen or with the buttons, like it doesn't make me feel connected to the music. It doesn't make me feel like, oh yeah, like whatever this connection people feel to rhythm games. I
think that you're thinking that there's more of a connection than there actually is.
Well, people love the games, so there must be something to it. And the other thing I hate like about a lot of them, like Theater Rhythm is bad at this, where like it's got these like really crappy sounding like I don't know, like attack sound effects or something, where you know you like do a certain thing, it's like and it's like I don't want to hear that. I just want to hear the music. Like that's like in like it sounds crappy on top of the music. But like people just love getting in the flow. They just love getting in the flow of it. And it's just like it is not there for me. It is not there for me. Like I think for most people like this like connection that they feel to music is just like this just natural thing, and they can't comprehend when someone says like I just don't have that. Like they just can't comprehend, but I don't. And it's not like I don't understand music or like can't recognize music or feel the beat of it in my own way, but like what they are trying to the notes they're trying to connect me to in rhythm games, it doesn't make sense. Like the timing there doesn't make sense, but like, you know, like I can like tap my foot to music or something, but like it doesn't make sense in a game. It just never makes sense. Like I just, you know, I'm musically inept in every way.
Junko 988 with $4 is asking, what about sports games?
No.
What would you, if you were forced?
Oh, if I was forced?
What would you do? Yeah.
I mean, you know, sure, there are more. I mean, you know, like I like a, you know, a golf game or something, but I mean, again, you're pretty much, you know, going over, if you're talking about like giving up nothing but, like you're pretty much in this same scenario of, you know, I'm basically giving up my favorite entertainment medium.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
but what I'm saying is, like, I mean, if you had to pick one,
rhythm games or sports games?
Yeah, I mean, if those are the only options,
which would I pick?
Or you get like,
oh, I forgot Krako's in
drop into a vat of acid.
That wouldn't be great.
I know it wouldn't be great.
Sports games or rhythm games?
Yeah, I would take sports games in a second.
I would probably, but I mean, the conversation we've been having about how much I do not feel rhythm games, and the fact that I have to like even think about this at all should highlight for you just how much I don't really care for either. Yeah, that's I mean, I would probably pick sports games, but man, that would I would want to pick rhythm games over sports games. But I think my chances of eking some enjoyment out of sports games versus rhythm games might be greater.
Right.
But
I mean, you get FL Bliss and NBA Jam.
Huh?
You would get like NFL Blitz and NBA Jam.
Sure, in this world where I do not actually have to make such difficult decisions, I don't bother with it. But yeah, if I did have to make such decisions, like I could, I like golf games. I like tennis games on occasion, but yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I feel like when you say NFL Blitz, like I would have to learn how football works to begin with. But I feel like my chances of learning about football are greater than my chances at understanding how, like, what's fun about rhythm games or even comprehending how to play it at all. I like the aesthetic of rhythm games. I mean, don't get me wrong. I would like to like them, but it's something I just don't have in me.
I think you should pick a game from each genre to like spend some time with next year, just to see. I mean, you should say, I'm gonna play NFL Blitz. I'm gonna play a season of NFL Blitz.
Come on, no way.
Why not?
Because I don't even know how football works. Like, that would be like...
you learn real quick.
No, I wouldn't.
You would learn super quick. It's like
would be like the effort of learning a language. Practical.
Oh, come on.
I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Yeah, you're just a little bit, like,
only a little bit.
Just it's true. I mean, Kebab says, it does make me, like Coury talking to Try like he's trying to get him to eat vegetables. I mean, you might be surprised.
Nah.
Okay. I think it'd be an interesting experiment, because what if it's like RPGs? What if it's like this game and NFL Blitz is like, you're like, oh my God, this is actually awesome.
I mean, don't get me wrong.
This is so much fun to play, and it's like, this is more fun than playing Vampire Survivors. I guarantee you that playing NFL Blitz is a lot more fun and fulfilling than Vampire Survivors. Don't knock it till you try. You can't talk crap on it without being like, I actually like played an entire full game of NFL Blitz. You can't just poop on it. You can't knock it till you try it, because then it just sounds like you're hating on it in not understanding it.
I mean, yeah, but I don't want to understand it. Sports people were not nice to me when I was young. This is a deeply embedded hatred. Like I don't want to like that stuff.
Okay, well, I mean, I didn't realize that it like went back to like a trauma. I guess if that is, that's understandable then. I didn't realize that it.
I mean, I mean, don't get me wrong. I didn't have it as bad as a lot of nerds probably had it, but honestly, like more so than any kids being mean, the thing that stayed with me the most was when I took swim lessons at the Y, and like it was Polywog 1 and Polywog 2.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever the different levels of classes were. And like I passed Polywog 1, and then I get, to the first day of Polywog 2, and you know the instructor or coach or whatever you'd call him was just immediately like, I'm going to put you back in Polywog 1. And like, I was just like, well, screw you. I'm never coming back. like that was like humiliating. And like, then he puts me in this class of kids like a whole bunch younger than me. It's like, I'd kind of love to talk to that guy.
I mean, you'd say like a whole bunch younger, like how much younger?
Well, like a year younger, but when you're a kid, like that's a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so it's like, you know, I passed that and you're telling me do that again when like I passed it. It's like, you know, like I kind of like would love to like talk to that guy again and just be like I just want him to know like how that made me feel. Like that was
And you don't like swimming, right? Is it because of that?
Oh yeah, I mean I liked being in the pool.
Yeah.
I liked being in the pool, but like, you know, I don't think I like totally gave up just like being in the pool after that necessarily, but like, you know, my interest definitely started to wane. You know, my interest in doing anything to excel in physical activity was definitely kind of destroyed
because you guys sent back the one.
Well, that and also like, you know, when I did you know, like I liked Cub Scouts, but like Boy Scouts was terrible. And when we did this like they called it a bike hike. I don't like, people seem confused when I tell this story. Like, what's a bike hike? I don't know if that's like a common term or not, but it was like a 6-mile bike hike or whatever. And I know that sounds like pathetic, but like my crotch like hurt like so bad for like.
Well, I mean, yeah, sitting on a bike for a while.
I know, but like even that, like
I mean, like that's the.
Never rode a bike again.
Bikes. Oh. But I mean, that's like just down to the seat. Like that's just.
Yeah, but like I mean,
you know, like I remember like 10-speeds, like when they had like the plastic seats, like no padding or anything on them.
I feel like I should know how to do this better. There we go. Yeah, like that was like, that wasn't a great experience either.
Well, someday I think you should say, listen, I'm just gonna try this again just to try it.
Well, fighting games first. Mortal Kombat.
Okay. I mean, is there a specific reason you don't like fighting games?
Oh, back in the day, there's two things, and this ties into my dislike of sports. I just don't have like a competitive drive. Like it doesn't like do much for me to like win over, like winning against a computer in a game is one thing, but like winning against other people, like I just don't like get like a satisfaction out of it. So like, you know, like I like playing stuff like Mario Kart, but like it's still like winning is like whatever.
But it doesn't have to be a satisfaction. I don't think it can be. just having fun with friends. I mean, you talked about how you would play GoldenEye.
Oh,
Like
sure. And like Perfect Dark, we almost always played on teams against bots, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
what if you were playing an online multiplayer shooter on a team with your friends against people you don't know?
I would have no interest in playing against people I don't know because they're probably all.
It's the same thing as bots,
good.
though, except for there's actual people controlling those bots.
Yeah, but
that's the only thing I'm
saying. But like you can figure out how bots behave and like exploit that, right? People, I've never learned how to like compete against people. You know, I've just never learned to like, and that's like part of like fighting games. Like I don't know, like I've never really been able to like parse what's someone getting ready to do, like what's their fighting style. I've just never like, but that I'll admit is a practice thing. That I'll admit is a practice thing that you know I haven't put into it. But like back in the day, initially, what kept me away from like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat was like I just thought they felt really stiff. Like just, you know, like I just thought they felt stiff, and you know, and the fact that I'm just not that competitive, you know, made me just not really develop an interest. But then, you know, I played Soul Calibur, you know, several of my friends, you know, it's kind of funny that, you know, the Dreamcast was Sega's last system because like I actually didn't have a lot of close friends who had Sega systems. Like most of my friends had Nintendo systems. So, and then the PlayStation, and like, so the Dreamcast, like for whatever reason, like my cousin's husband got it, you know, some of my friends got it, you know, so Dreamcast was like kind of like a big exposure to Sega for me. And, you know, I played Soul Calibur, I'm like, hey, I like this. Like, it feels different to me from Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat and Tekken. And I think a big part of that is, you know, for one, it does move, I think, pretty fluidly, but also I feel like the weapons help distinguish each character a lot more. So let's mosey. So like when everyone's just punch and kick, like I don't like distinguish the fighting styles very much. You know? So like it's like learning a character always seemed weird when it's all punch kick. But when there's something that distinguishes the characters a little more, like what weapon they're wielding, then that makes the differences between the characters a little more interesting to me. But yeah, I'm going, if nothing else than for the story mode, which I hear is like really good in all of the Mortal Kombat games starting at 9. You know, maybe I'll get lucky. And
I mean, it depends on, you know. I wouldn't say that they're really good. I think that they are better. I've heard
they're really good.
Like followed, like if you had like an interest in the story of the original ones.
Right, but I hear that's a good place to jump in.
Yeah,
and I know
but I wouldn't expect something like riveting. Like it's just.
Well, I'm not expecting like something super serious, but I'm expecting something like, you know, enjoyable in a dumb way.
Yeah.
Like I just hear they're really well put together. And that the stories are entertaining.
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I played 11 this year just to play the story mode, and I think that's fun. And like one of the reasons I like the story though is because like I thought that the first 3 games the story was one of the primary focuses of those original games. I mean, in all of them really, but I only followed the first 3 closely. I can't believe you're still here. I thought you were out of here or something.
Well,
Did you beat that guy?
It's
or did you run back in?
Well, Croco, I had to fight Croco, but I have to fight Punchinello.
Oh, Croco.
Punchinello is the guy who's deeper in the mines, who actually has the Actually, that's a star, but he's not one of Smithy's guys. I forget how much deeper in it is though. Might not be that far because the minecart that we escape on is right here.
Talk about my experience with fighting games. You know, it's pretty hardcore into Street Fighter 2, starting with Championship Edition because my arcade only had it didn't have it until Champion Edition came out. And I think one of the reasons I wanted to try Street Fighter so much is because so many magazines were talking about it.
Yeah,
and once I found out that our arcade got it, you know, we started to play it a bunch. Like some friends and I went and played it just to see what it was like. And slowly we got better and better at it. And then it came out on Super NES, and I didn't have a Super Nintendo. I bought a Super Nintendo for Street Fighter 2. But I do remember when my friend got Street Fighter 2, and it was a rainy morning, and it had to have been July when it came out. I remember it being a rainy morning, and he called me up, and he's like, "I got it." And, everybody went over to his house, and we played it all day long. For I want it had to have been at least 10 hours straight. And it was awesome because we got to play all these characters that we never had a chance to play as in the arcade. Just because when you're paying for it,
yeah,
I bet a lot of people, the first one or two characters that they try, they pick one of them, and when it's costing money to try out different characters, then they're not trying everybody.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's...
oh, I like this person, or I don't like this person, I'm going to try somebody else, and they just stick with the second person they do.
Yeah,
they don't really go out of their way to try other characters when it costs money.
Right. I mean, in some ways, it's always amazed me that arcades have, been as were as successful as they were because, it's I don't know. I was always like, well, I don't want to spend money on a game that I know I'm not going to get to the end to, but if I have the game at home,
yeah,
then I don't have to continue to pay money,
right?
to try again,
right? There's $5 from John Simon. Thank you. Saying night, guys.
Good night. Thank you.
Maddie Divine, it's true. Everybody wanted to try Duddleson. And I guarantee you when you're playing with a bunch of people that don't really know how to play that game, playing as Duddleson just meant that you dominated everybody. Because I think that nobody understood, knew the game well enough of how you fight back against that. And even blocking, Blocking is one of those things that does not come naturally when playing fighting games. Especially early on, I think that was definitely the case. Maybe not so much now, but I felt at the time it just felt counterintuitive to hold back to block. And I think that I got so used to that it became more difficult to have a block button to wrap my head. I always want to hold back to block. Mega X6 has been a member for 20 months. Awesome, thank you. Saying SF2 was awesome. Love that game. On a side note, have you ever seen Street Fighter 1? Now you should see Maximilian Dude's 2016 Legacy video sometime. I mean, I played it briefly in the Capcom Classics collection. That was the first time I played it. Never played Fighting Street on the...
Can't jump on.
But yeah, I mean, this one had the pressure, kind of pressure sensitive buttons or something. $4.99 from Paul Sutton.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Saying best fighting mini game. Fighting game minigame. Tekken Force, Mortal Kombat Kart, Match of the Millennium Pit Jumps. I mean, I my heart says I want to pick Match of the Millennium Pit Jumps because it's got Arthur in it. And Arthur he hadn't been seen for a little while when that came out.
Yeah, there's the. I mean, I don't know if you consider it a mini game or maybe a main game mode itself. That like the toe ball games have like the dungeon crawling mode.
I do kind of want to say Tekken Force because it's the first appearance of
Tekken.
That's where it came from. It was like the Tekken Force mode in Tekken 3. But I never played the Mortal Kombat carts. I can't say much about that. Let's see if there's anything else I can think of off the top of my head. Didn't one of the Mortal Kombat games have like a Puyo Puyo type game in it too?
Oh, that's funny.
I don't know if there's anything else. Mortal Kombat Chess. I did not play that one. Back to block. It is muscle memory. It took me a long time to get used to having a button for block, and even then, even now, I still don't think I can be as reliable with it. But I mean, I don't know, like what other mini games are. I Match of the Millennium is a great game though. Was there a Tekken volleyball? It was like a beach ball, like it was like a big ball. Was it called Tekken Ball? Why did it call it Tekken Ball? Let me look that up. Tekken Ball, yes. Is in Tekken 3 and returned in the Wii U edition of Tekken Tag Tournament and is in Tekken 8 apparently. Just in September, it was announced that it was going to be in Tekken 8, and PCGamesN.com said Tekken 8 finally brings back its best bonus mode. Which Square said it's happening. Legendary Tekken Ball mode returns in Tekken 8. Legendary. What were we gonna say?
I remember when I got to this boss the first time, I used Malo's whatever his scan ability is called. And he's like the first enemy in the game with over 1,000 HP. Which sounds like such a small number, right? But I just remember being like, oh, how am I ever going to beat an enemy with 1,000 HP?
And then you played a Final Fantasy game, right?
Yeah. It is funny, though, just how variable the scale of numbers is from game to game. Like Final Fantasy IV runs on a much smaller scale than like 6 and 7.
Yeah.
And 9 reduces the scale again. And then like the numbers in 14 are just stupid. Like I don't even know how much. I don't even know if it's the tens of thousands of HP that I have or the hundreds of thousands of HP that I have. Like the numbers are like absolutely bonkers.
Yeah,
I mean, in 40, and that's after they did a like a shrink of the number scale like across the entire game, like before the last expansion, and the numbers are still like just so high.
they're meaningless.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's the meter and the cooldowns, not the number. You know, I mean, I do miss the days where, and this game is back to that, the basics of that, and where each number you do, each attack you do in an RPG, you can actually like pay attention to that number and be like, oh, that was a good attack. Like I should do that again, or that didn't work. Let me do that again. Now it's just numbers flying everywhere, and it just like becomes meaningless.
There was £2 from InGen UK.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Saying, are you guys excited about the OLED Steam Deck? No, not really.
I mean, you've already got yours, so you're not.
Yeah,
gonna...
I mean, I play it so little that I just really don't feel a real need to upgrade.
Yeah, I mean, the idea of Steam Deck appeals to me, just like as a fixed platform for PC games, but
right.
I don't see myself getting one
playing it outside.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see myself.
Too big.
I see myself playing it very seldom in general.
Yeah.
Something I want to look into though, like the computer that I used to use as my downstairs like streaming and recording computer. Like I want to like I think there are ways that you can install like the Steam OS, just as your operating system on a computer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of interested in, but can you, like, I don't know that much about like Proton and like how flexible Proton is. And like most of my Steam games are like 10 plus years old. Like, do those games work on Steam OS? That's some stuff that I need to look into, but it's something I'm curious about because I like the idea of I don't necessarily love playing stuff on PC, but if I was going to play stuff on PC, and sometimes you need to for a stream or whatever reason, I like the idea of it being like just like a dedicated box for it,
Yeah. I mean, Kaylee Gamer is saying the Steam Deck OLED got a better battery life too, I heard. And honestly, I've never been into a situation where I was in danger of running out of battery because I don't take it anywhere outside of the house.
Like
I saw this picture, like the stock photo of somebody like hanging out like on a stairway, like a set of stairs, like in a park or something like that.
Oops.
Was playing the Steam Deck. And I look at that, I think like, there's no way that I would ever do that.
You saw someone outside the house playing Steam Deck recently?
No, it was just like a stock photo type thing.
Oh. Dang it, I keep screwing up on the break. I saw someone. I saw someone playing Switch in a restaurant the other day, and it made me think about how like seldom I even see that. Like I feel like I don't see people playing Switch like in public. I don't even see people playing Switch in public that often. I mean, you have kids, so you go more places than I do.
Yeah, I mean, but I never see like adults playing it. I mean, there's just no. I've just never been in a place where like you go out and that's what you do. I wonder if people, you know, do see people playing the Switch in places. Like, who's the only time that I've ever seen people playing Switch in public like that is like when I went to this like rooftop party, and you know,
what was it like the rooftop party?
Set it up for everybody, and
you're. I mean, are you being serious, or are you making a joke based on like the reveal?
No, it's that dumb like the first commercial.
Okay, I'm like, okay.
I mean, the only time I've seen people
the rooftop
playing
party.
Switch like a whole bunch like for real in public is in this fake commercial. Or this commercial that presents a situation that never
exists.
Yeah. I mean, like at the airport waiting for the plane.
Oh, sure.
Or
but
like
even,
on a plane is fine. But
like,
or like in like you say, like in my because you say in my car on lunch breaks, and that makes sense too. But it's not like you're gonna go someplace. It's like I'm gonna go down to the park and play my Steam Deck. Like
all the more power to you if you do. I mean, I think that would be cool. I'm just saying I don't see it. I mean, I play Switch while I'm waiting at the airport, but I feel like I don't see other people do that.
I swear that handle in there, it looks like a baby bottle, kind of.
That's a rattle. There's a mole. There's a baby mole in the cart with me.
I see it now. I didn't realize.
You know, the mode 7 of that whole minecart segment, like, amazed me back in the day. You know, I was talking about this in the, talking about like playing Switch in public or whatever, and like or Steam Deck. Like, I think a big part of the appeal of handheld gaming for a lot of people is, you know, they like to play it, like they like to have their own private screen to play on at home, right?
Yeah.
And like I don't know if anyone else like feels this way, but like I don't like playing handheld games at home. Like, I like playing them away from home, you know, like if I'm visiting my parents or, you know, traveling elsewhere, you know, I'll play it in all sorts of other environments, but I just don't like playing it at home. And like, I was kind of thinking about it. It's like, I think it's kind of a similar feeling that you have when you say, you've said before that you like never, I mean, not that you play the PSVR often, but like, you know, back when you played it a little more, you said like, you like couldn't play it when no one was home, right? I remember you saying
because like people could literally break in and I wouldn't know about it.
Well, but see,
it's like being in a sensory deprivation chamber, essentially.
Yeah, but like it's kind of like that for me, where it's just like I don't know, like playing games on my screen here feels totally fine, but like when I'm like in this like large living room all by myself, no one around but my dog, and I'm playing on this little screen, like something about that just feels like weird and like almost lonely or something. It's weird. But then like if I am, you know, visiting someone, like a handheld system is like your own little private world that you can like escape into, and it feels cozy, right? But like it feels weird if there aren't, like, handheld gaming feels weird to me when there aren't other people around. I mean, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
But like most people live with other humans, so I can understand why they would want to like have their own little private screen, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I'd love to play my Switch like in bed or something like that.
See,
like, if
like
was upstairs and
I couldn't.
like watching a show. Like I'll bring a game up there. I mean, I talk about that a lot. You know, like how we kind of do our own thing, but in each other's presence. I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like true. For a lot of people, but like that's the time. And some people, like someone's Kaylee Gamer just mentioned the PlayStation Portal, and I mean that is like, I would love to get one just to play PS5 games in bed.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see it being a good fit for you if it works decently.
Yeah. Andrew M with $5 says, breaking news, the Steam Deck has now replaced the Nintendo Switch at a majority of rooftop parties. 70% by Valve's numbers. Insert sad Mario pick here.
That sounds like a hard drive article.
Yeah. How's this going? It's about 11:30 now.
Yeah. As soon as this snippet cutscene is over, I'm going to go, since we just finished this sequence. Well, I guess they're called sniffsters in this translation.
The old sniffsters. PlayStation Portal apparently doesn't work very great locally. I mean, hopefully that is something that can be fixed in like firmware.
Wait, isn't that the only thing that it's for?
Getting one, because I would love to play
does
a lot
it
of
even
these,
work
like, really long games in other rooms of the house if I felt like it.
I mean, have you ever tried remote play like on the Vita, like away from home? I tried it. I tried a few times because I don't
remember it going very well. But that's 10 years ago now, or more than 10 years ago. So hopefully it's improved.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's improved, but I'm just saying that I did try it. Like I brought like my Vita to my parents' house. I played some Final Fantasy 14, many years ago. Like I wouldn't do anything like too action based. Like I wouldn't have even done like a dungeon in Final Fantasy 14, but I just did like, some pretty minor like, quests that, didn't take a lot of action input or anything, right? So, but it amazed me that it functioned. Like, I was in, another house 30 miles away and, I was playing my PS4 in a way that was not a great low latency experience or anything, but it did work. Like that amazed me.
Yeah, it's like I would just play RPGs or something like that if that required. Yeah. How does the Portal compare against, say, like just using one of those backbone controller things and just playing on your phone? I wonder.
Oh yeah, because there is the app.
Yeah, but there's like that backbone thing. It's like a controller, like a two-piece thing that stretches.
My understanding is there's not really anything you can do with it other than
right.
Other than remote. Do you need PS Plus to do it?
Well, that's a good question. Because I canceled that stuff. I turned off auto renew for sure. How many people in the chat turned off auto renew on PS Plus when they did the price hikes? Can I get a show of hands, please?
I think I lost my subscription, but it wasn't really intentional. I don't think I have. I'm pretty sure I don't have it right now. I think it was because it was an old credit card that was on it. So, and I just never bothered to update.
I mean, I would gladly pay $20 a year for just save files and cloud storage.
Yeah,
I mean that is
no online play.
I mean, I do with the Switch essentially. I barely play those apps, but I use the crap out of the
cloud save. Yeah, because you play on like a Switch Lite, you use more than one Switch.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is, that, like, even if all you did was cloud saves, like Switch Online is cheap enough to where that's fine. You know?
Yeah.
Especially because it's like so easy to just get in on a family plan with friends, like we do.
Right.
So.
Well, you do. I have a my own family plan.
Oh, I thought you were still on the family plan with me and Drum and Lynn.
I never was.
Well, you weren't?
I don't think so.
Well, okay. But either way, it's like it's so cheap. And if I do play an online game, it's going to be
You know, my family plan
Mario
is like
Kart.
me. I think you can have 5, right?
I don't remember.
You want and I forget that is even on it. But like I guess my family plan is it's me, my 2 kids, and Joe Redifer. He was like on my family plan because he needed to use the apps like for something.
Uncle Joe.
Yeah. Just randomly. He's on my family plan. Who even knows if
Does he ever use it?
Uses it or even remembers that he is on it?
I mean, do you ask him for his share of the money?
No, I offered it to him. It's just funny that like, I mean, I guarantee you that he doesn't even remember that he's on there. It's just funny.
All right, well,
that person's like hiding behind that thing. Is that what you're looking for?
No, I mean I'm just wandering around until we're done talking.
Oh, okay.
Like I'm the story is ready to move on, so I'm but it's too much for this stream. So
I like the spinning mushroom head icon outside the store.
Oh yeah, well I mean they do that on the original version too.
But I guess that'll do it, right?
That will do it.
Well, I hope that everybody has a great week ahead of them, and I hope that everyone has a good holiday if you are in the United States, and everyone has a good Thanksgiving. Thank you for all the donations tonight.
Yeah, and can't say if it'll be before Thanksgiving, but look for either your projector review or the RetroTink.
I mean, I got a lot of work to do before I go.
Yeah,
but
well, I mean, me too. So
breathing that thing.
But
I guarantee you have a lot more to do on mine than you do on yours.
Well, I think there will be a video of some variety by stream time next week. I will be profoundly disappointed if somehow it doesn't get out by next stream. But I think it will. I'd love for it to be done by Wednesday, but I don't know. I don't know. It would be a lot, but we'll see. But thanks everyone for watching and all the super chats, and we will see you next week.